shot was blocked by Steve Smith. Lindros got a stick on it, but it's the Flames that come up with a Dubinsky. Number 18 for the Flames, scoots behind his own net. It's tipped out of there by Smith down the ice. No icing here as Therrien would have caught up to that puck. Flames finishing their checks after a Flyer touches the puck. No time for Philadelphia to relax. Here's a chance for Park, and the shot deflected. Passed in front, loose to the crease, covered down by Trefilov as Leclerc was banging away at it.
Ron Hextall came flying out of the net because we are going to get a penalty here against the Calgary Flames. At full flight, the Philadelphia Flyers getting in there, trying to get it to the crease area where they work their best. John Leclerc hangs around there, makes a living. Trefilov has been terrific early on in this first period, really enhancing the fact that Calgary Flames just acquired him last night. Philadelphia keeps it simple. Just throw it out into the crease area, get to those loose pucks, and jam them home. Trefilov laying across the crease there, number 10, always lurking.
Jason Weimer, the guilty party for the Calgary Flames. Number 24 going to the box.
Weimer's been playing head-to-head so far against Eric Lindros. He's a big man. He can do that pretty well. He did it in the game earlier this month where these two teams played to a 3-3 tie. So Lindros will have his hands full against Jason Weimer here tonight.
Flyers got their only goal in San Jose on the power play last night. They are just 5 for 40. As you look at their overall numbers on the season, just 5 for 40 in their last 8 games, in which they are unbeaten with the 4 wins and 4 ties.
This is the area of the hockey game that's going to make or break Calgary again here tonight. Their penalty killing has been terrible, especially at home. It is their Achilles heel by far and away. And if Philadelphia, a tired club coming in from San Jose last night, is going to be successful, they need to put some pressure on and get some goals on this power play.
Smith backhanding it up the board. Desjardins able to stop it for the Flyers to keep it in. Drop pass. Jones with a chance. Tip just wide of Trefilov. Here is Langkow. Gets it off of Jones. Gets it right back. Langkow, Jones, and Zelepukin. Pass in front. Save made there by Trefilov. Second great stop he's made on Zelepukin here in the first period. McGillett being bothered by Fleury closes in. Desjardins giving a shove by Fleury. Zelepukin dumped it back behind the Calgary goal. Steve Smith is there. Smith pushes it ahead, and it's driven along the boards and down the ice by Castle.
Good movement down low by the Philadelphia Flyers. Just a good old-fashioned cycle. Calgary was just a little bit slow, and Zelepukin got a good bid on Trefilov.
Castle lugging it out to center ice. Snaps it in wide to Trefilov. Dale Hull, so Trefilov got a stick on it. And the Flames, though, able to recover. That's one of the areas they were a little bit concerned about, Brian, was not knowing a lot about Trefilov. Does he like to handle it? Does he like to gamble?
Exactly, and especially when you're a man-short situation. These guys have not had a chance to practice with their new goaltender. He just got in this afternoon as well, too. So how will he handle the puck? Will he set it up for the defense? Is he aggressive with it? Will he shoot it down the ice himself? All these things have to go by feel between the Calgary defense and Trefilov.
Like now, screen shot bounces in front, but it's swept away by Gauthier before Brind'Amour could get to it. Cleared out of there by Shots. And Leclerc rolls it across center ice. Kretichny now dumps it in wide of Trefilov. And that play was offside. Andre Trefilov under fire and holding up to the big bad Flyers.
It knows 2 speeds. Stop and go. It just beat a series of the toughest stop-and-go driving tests in the world. And it's brand new. Go ahead. Guess. You have 4.3 seconds. Introducing Pennzoil with new Pure Base. Stop. Go. Pennzoil. Refreshing as a mountain stream. Busch. Head for the mountains of Busch Beer.
Valerie Zelapukin got a good bid on net on the power play here. He's on the boards on the left. A good old-fashioned cycle down low. There goes Zelapukin through the top, and a no-look pass ends up right on the tape. You need a little bit of luck with the no-look pass, but the fact is that there was movement there in a circular fashion that the Flyers are so good at. It's not just the big line of Lindros and Leclerc and whoever's on the wing. The other guys see that it works as well, too, and it worked there on power play.
OTA now for the Flames. Snaps it across into the Flyers zone. Just over 4 minutes left in the first period. Clark Wilm with the only goal of the game on the power play. They battle deep in the Flyers zone. Now it comes out to Zubris. Zubris plays it off the boards now. Colin Forbes holds up. Forbes centering pass deflected over the head of Trepilov and high off the glass. Now Holtz for the Flames. Wraps it around the boards and Ward down the ice with it.
Brian Sutter's influence there. That line was in trouble for Calgary. They didn't waste any time. They got to the puck finally, just got it right down the ice.
Bowl season continues on ESPN tomorrow night with the Culligan Holiday Bowl. The 16th-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers travel to San Diego to take on number 6-ranked Arizona and their exciting quarterbacking duo of Ortegi Jenkins and Keith Smith. Coverage gets underway with bowl game night at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, only on ESPN.
Here's the matchup of the big boys again. There's Weimer of Calgary against Eric Lindros. It's a long night when you know you're going to go up against Eric, but it gets your adrenaline pumping. Anybody who's going to play against them knows they're in for a long night. They want to play physical against them. Brian Sutter said that Weimer has done a terrific job against big guys like Lindros this season.
Lindros won the draw. He had a good night last night in San Jose on faceoffs where the Flyers won 61% of the draws against San Jose. You get up over 60%, means you're controlling the puck in a lot of critical situations. Keith Smith, bobbed a bit by Lindros. Now Derek Morris, number 53, back there for Calgary. Morris plays it along. Dubinsky has it. He'll start it back now, trying to use some of his speed. Hands it off for Steve Smith. Dumps it in behind Hextall. Tischney now moves it to Richard Park. Park hands it off, and it's recovered by Leclerc. And he'll just dump it down the ice. This is going to be an icing call on the touch-up by Morris.
Stick around. Coming up in the first.
Well, Weimer's going to work on Lindros, as we just pointed out. The last time these two teams played, it ended up in a 3-3 tie, but Philadelphia was winning 2-0. Then Cale Hulse got into a scrap with Eric Lindros, and it ended up 3-3 tie. Now, Cale Hulse is a pretty tough customer. They want to wear down the big guy, and, of course, anytime you can get him off the ice is great. There are a lot of guys on the Calgary Flames who would gladly go with them, even though it might be at a pretty high price. But the Calgary Flames are pretty much known for a little bit of distraction almost. If they get down in a game, which they are not tonight, they're ahead by one goal right now, and that's in good stead for them. But they sort of try to distract you in any way they can, physically, if possible. It worked for them last time against the Flyers.
Johnson Brindamore now on this face-off. Deep in the Flyers zone, and Brindamore controlled. As Terrian now plays it ahead. Zelapukin could not clear. He may get another chance, but shot stepped into him, made him pay a price for it. Simpson dumps it across the Flyers zone. Picked up again with a one-timer. That one off the skate of Terrian. And he finds an opening to clear at center ice. Brindamore just beat to the puck by Simpson.
That was a good dump in by Calgary, right off the wall, and the immediate shot by Iginla with a guy going to the front of the net. Calgary's very effective on little plays like that. I mentioned they're really good on the rush. That wasn't so much on the rush, but those are the types of plays that they're very, very good at because they have the quickness, and if everybody's focused in the same area, getting the puck to the net and going for rebounds, it works.
Nice outlet pass by Fleury to find Housley. He's looking for the late man. Fleury coming back. Fleury snaps the shot. Save. Hextall loose puck outside the crease. McGinley couldn't get to it. Flyers fail to clear. Housley rinked wide for Fleury. Tough angle. Drive. He scores! Theo Fleury makes it 2-0 Calgary.
Funny how things work out sometimes. Theo Fleury had a much better chance a moment earlier, and I thought he went too far on the plate before he took his shot. Then he'll end up with the puck along the sideboards. Here's the initial rush by the Calgary Flames. Fleury will end up with it in the middle. Watch what I mean. Here he comes. He goes too far, I think, before he pulls the trigger. Hextall makes a save, but the puck will come around to the other side, and Fleury will get it. He'll just pull the trigger from almost over at the wall. Hextall a little late going down. 5-hole, 2-0 Flames.
Fleury's 18th of the year. He came into this game tied for 5th in scoring behind only Lindros, Correa, Leclerc, and Jaromir Jagr.
That's a goal scorer's goal, too. Those ones aren't supposed to go in. But when you're one of the leading scorers in the National Hockey League, which Fleury is in that top handful, Dave, when you're hot, you're an established guy, you shoot pucks at the net, they go in.
Here is Langkow now, tough angle. He tries to stuff it in on Trepilov, who made the save. Trepilov poked it in behind the net. Dubras and Bopat back there, number 24, on this line with Langkow. Here is Bopat with it, plays it off the board. Less than a minute remaining now in the first period. Holtz back there now for the Flames. Took a big hit from Bopat, but hammered it around the boards, and Dykhouse hands it there. For the Flyers, they look to come right back in. Zubras taken off the puck by Steve Smith. Dave Roche, former Pittsburgh Penguin, ahead for Ward. He got turned around. Leclerc with a steal, tried to set up Lindros. And Wilm with the intercept starts it back for Calgary. Wilm puts it in behind the defense and then picks it up himself. Centering pass for Roche, tried to redirect. Hit his own skate, I believe. And it's cleared out of there by the Flyers, McGillis. And look out, we got McGillis going at it with somebody on the far side for the Calgary Flames.
I'm not sure who that is. I couldn't catch. Oh, it's Roche.
Yep.
Roche of the Calgary Flames and McGillis, two pretty big boys going at it. That happened as the puck was being cleared by the Flyers, who have done a pretty good job at that. They have not had to undergo very much of a sustained attack by the Flames. Here's a look at how it started. Just a little elbow, push, shove. One glove flies off, whether intentionally or not. That's a tough way to start a fight, though, when you drop one glove and end up falling down. But no blood was drawn there.
A lot of things happening in the National Hockey League and the world of sports. So stay with us for the new Dodge Intermission Report. ESPN News Network takes over. The NHL All-Star coaches to be announced and highlights from the Alamo Bowl as we're right into the holiday bowl season. And a lot of the coverage right here on ESPN and ESPN2.
Well, Calgary's feeling pretty good about themselves with less than 20 seconds to go here in this game. When you're against a Flyer team, again, that's been on the road, and you have them down 2-0, you know they're tired. And there's a long way to go in this game, but the confidence level and the feel in the building, you can certainly feel that the Calgary Flames are in control of themselves, and that's important against a good team like Philly.
McGillis for the Flyers, Roche for the Flames. Each got 2-minute minors, so 4 skaters aside for the remaining time here in the first period.
Calgary likes to dump the puck into open spaces, and when you only have 4-on-4 out there and a guy like Theo Fleury, I would expect they'd be dumping things over on that right wing side to see if they can get him the puck in these dying seconds here of the first.
You know, it's interesting for Brian Sutter's club in 4-on-4 situations. There have been 10 goals scored. They've scored 6, given up 4. Flyers have not been involved in scoring or giving up a goal 4-on-4 so far this season. Here is Carrion now. 5 seconds left in the period. Triple off the save, and the puck in front skated out of harm's way by Castles. Well, if there was any concern how Andrei Trepilov would react to coming back to the National Hockey League against a big, strong team like the Flyers, he answered the call, and they lead it 2-0. ESPN News Network takes over after this.
Refreshing as a mountain stream. Busch. Head for the mountains of Busch beer.
For Dodge Intrepid, we looked beyond a great look and took cab-forward architecture to a new place. With a spacious cabin, a very useful pass-through, and a cavernous trunk, Intrepid is an automobile for today, wrapped in a shape for the next millennium. Well equipped for as low as $20,495.
Izzy, this cold. I'm so stuffed up. Feels like I'm underwater, too. The sneezing and coughing can last all night. My eyes won't shut either. I need NyQuil for relief so I can rest. Because I have plans in the morning. What? I can't say.
With NyQuil, he gets relief, so he'll sleep and wake up to a good morning.
Don't look.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest and have a good morning medicine.
Experience Hendrix, the best of Jimi Hendrix. A newly remastered collection containing 20 of Jimmy's greatest hits, including Fire, Purple Haze, Foxy Lady, and All Along the Watchtower. If you're only going to own one Jimi Hendrix album, this is the one to have.
Foxy Lady.
Let me stand next to your fire.
Experience Hendrix, the best of Jimi Hendrix. Order now and receive a free Jimi Hendrix screensaver.
Check out SportsCenter every night for a preview of the 1999 ESPYs and then hit ESPN.com for a full slate of this year's nominees. See how your picks stack up against ESPN's when the awards are televised February 15th. Watch SportsCenter and log on to ESPN.com for a complete ESPY preview.
Tonight's intermission report is brought to you by Dodge. Now, let's join ESPN News. From the worldwide leader in sports, this is ESPN News.
Dan, a very special welcome to those of you watching us on ESPN2, the Flyers and the Flames. This is the ESPN Newsroom. We'll get you back to that game in just a few moments. He's Jim Frazier, and I'm Ian Page. First, though, we're going to start you off with some NHL coaches that got some good news today.
Indeed, they did. Going to be some great players there and a couple of deserving coaches on their way as well. The NHL All-Star Game set for January 29th in Tampa Bay. And today, the league announced its two head coaches who will front the North American and World teams. Dallas Stars head coach Ken Hitchcock and Buffalo's Lindy Ruff are the lucky guys. Both coaches were chosen because of their team's winning percentages were the best in each conference as of this morning. Hitchcock Stars have a .758 winning percentage. He'll be assisted by the Coyotes' Jim Schoenfeld. Ruff Sabres sporting a .694 winning percentage. He'll be assisted by New Jersey head coach Robbie Ftorek on the World team bench. Well, several ingredients have spiced up the Phoenix Coyotes' success this season. Speed, finesse, great skating, and outstanding defense. However, the recipe would be far from complete without a healthy dose of Tkachuk and Roenick. The team's about to get a taste of life without those two. For a while, the Yotes 1-2 punch suffered a king-size KO. Keith Tkachuk gone at least 3 weeks after breaking a rib when he was cross-checked by Nordstrom in Monday's win over the Kings. He leads the team with 17 goals. His sidekick, Jeremy Roenick, took his lumps too, suffered a concussion in the third period of the same game when LA's Doug Bodger drilled him hard into the boards. Roenick is out at least a week. Louis DeBrusque and Steve Leach will take their spots in the lineup. Indeed, everybody was kung fu fighting in this one. Phoenix little hitman Dallas Drake suspended 4 games without pay after he went after Bodger from behind. Bodger paid with neck and shoulder injuries. Drake pays to the tune of over 20 grand in missed salaries. A trade tonight with an ironic twist. Now, defenseman Paul Coffey goes from the Blackhawks to the Hurricanes in exchange for right-wing Nelson Emerson. The 3-time Norris Trophy winner once upon a time demanded a trade from Hartford in the 96-97 season. Now he returns to the relocated franchise at the tail end of his career. Emerson is also a former Whaler.
The Tampa Bay Lightning will certainly be glad to see 1999 come to an end as the Lightning are enduring another difficult season with a league-low 19 points, and they've lost their last 3 games. Tonight, the Lightning playing host to the Islanders as the Lightning trying to snap a 6-game winless streak. Second period, no score. Carl Dykhouse flips it ahead to Vincent Lecavalier on the breakaway. He scores as he's being tripped. That's why he was the first pick in the NHL draft. 1-0 Lightning, and then the Lightning on the power play. Darcy Tucker to Corey Cross for the shot. Sandy McCarthy tips it in for the goal. And you know what? The Lightning get the win as they snap a 6-game winless streak and a 9-game home losing streak as Billy Ranford made 35 saves to record his first shutout this season and the 15th of his career. Canadiens and the Oilers all tied up at 2 now at the first intermission, and we'll, of course, keep you updated on this one throughout the evening on ESPN News. Meantime, it's the game you are watching. Flames up on the Flyers 2-0 at the first intermission. Stick around as Jim and I are coming back with more scores and highlights after this.
For those who have always been attracted to power, Dodge Dakota has the only available V8 in its class. Now when you buy select Dodge Dakota Club cabs, you'll get a 230 horsepower Magnum V8 at no extra charge. Why would someone want a truck with this much power? We think it has something to do with their childhood. J.D. Power & Associates has once again ranked Dodge Dakota most appealing compact pickup.
Hi, I'm Doug Flutie, pro football player and father of an autistic child. A lot of people buy Flutie Flakes because a portion of the proceeds go to help autistic children. But there's another way you can help. Dial 1010-220 when you call long distance. You can talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents. And every time you use it, a donation will be made to the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation. So dial 1010-220, talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents, and help some great kids at the same time. It's a win-win situation. I wish football was this easy.
Southern Miss's Lee Roberts showcases his rocket arm in a war against the elusive running of Idaho's Joel Thomas. The Humanitarian Bowl. Southern Miss versus Idaho at 3. Tomorrow on ESPN2.
Kansas State went into the Big 12 title game with an 11-0 record, but after blowing a 15-point lead, they lost to Texas A&M in double overtime. And then the next day, the Wildcats were not only left out of the bowl championship series, they were in fact passed over for the Holiday and Cotton Bowls. And tonight, they're out to prove they belong against Purdue in the Alamo Bowl. Early on in this one, we're scoreless until Drew Brees has plenty of time and hits Chris McDaniel wide open in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. Boilermakers up 7-0. But then, second and goal, Michael Bishop lofts it up for Darnell McDonald. Oh, great catch in the back of the end zone. And all of a sudden, we're all tied up. Actually, Purdue now has kicked a field goal, so they're up now 10-7 as they got about 8:55 to go before they reach the half. Purdue, 5 straight wins coming into this game. And, of course, they won the 1997 Alamo Bowl by 13 points over Oklahoma State. Earlier in the day, Virginia Tech got their first win over an SEC team as they win the Music City Bowl with a romp 38-7 over the Crimson Tide.
Pick a bowl, any bowl. These days, there's plenty to go around. 55 schools qualified for bowls by winning 6 Division I-A games or more this year. Only 11 teams were left out. Some quick math will tell you 22 bowl games make it possible for the diehard fan to seldom ever leave the couch or go an hour without some college football happening somewhere. With that, I bring you the Micron PC Bowl. NC State, Miami. The Canes kept UCLA out of the big game. NC State, the only team to beat Florida State this year. Edgerrin James are working his hard drive. Get out of my way. 15 yards. Later in the drive, 3rd and goal. Scott Covington. King me right. Andre King, 4 yards. It's up. It's good. 7-0 Miami. NC State, though, answers back on 3rd down. Jamie Barnett, Ryan Hammer to the 1. NC would score 7-7. Time for more of that man. He's got the look of a guy that wants to swing. The swing pass to James, and he's ready to jump, jive, and wail. Edgerrin James, 299 yards against UCLA in the finale, showing why he is NFL bound. From 7 yards out, nobody going to stop that load. 14-7 Canes. Second quarter now, same score. More the aerial attack. Scott Covington on play action. He's got Santana Moss. And Santana's got nothing but real estate. Oi, como va? 20-7 Miami. Late second quarter now. Barnett over the middle. Hits the referee on the head. Ball goes to Pat Sweeney. Right place, right time. Picked off. Thank you very much. 27-10 Miami at the half. As of now, it is still at the half. NC State down by 17, allowing 111 points in the last 2 games Miami has. Their defense ranked 62nd nationally. Want to know why you're seeing some points here. NC State ranking 64th overall defensively. Plenty more points should be forthcoming.
In college basketball, North Carolina and Cal all tied up right now at 39 in the first game of the Pete Newell Classic. The Tar Heels trying to bounce back from that loss to Georgia Tech 7 days ago. And Tennessee State is getting walloped by Kentucky tonight. 93-47 is your score right now. They got about a minute left in regulation. And a reminder, the Flames up 2-0 on the Flyers. For those of you on the Deuce, the second period coming up. For those of you on ESPN News, Jim and I back with more after this.
There comes a point in your life when you outgrow those cute little pickups, at which time you might want to consider something a little more adult, a truck that can run rings around compacts. Dodge Dakota, with more room and more available towing, torque, and power. Magnum Power. Dakota. It's time to put away the toys. J.D. Power & Associates has once again ranked Dodge Dakota most appealing compact pickup.
America Online introduces new version 4.0.
It can't get any easier. Instant messages.
We've spent over $1 billion to create a state-of-the-art high-speed network, and with 56K, connections are faster than ever.
Everyone I know is on it.
America Online, so easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
Go! Critics across the country are calling The Thin Red Line one of the year's best, including Time Magazine, Premiere, Interview Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, the National Board of Review, and Rolling Stone.
What difference you think you can make, one single man, in all this madness?
The Thin Red Line, rated R. Limited engagements now playing. Opens everywhere January 15th.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
ウィンター X ゲームはジャニュアリー16から始まります。ジョニー・モズリーさんはArctic 2
Winter X Game January 16 to 21.
Presented by Nike.
Well, Beanie Babies were obviously on the Christmas list up here in Calgary, Alberta. A couple of Flames fans playing with their newly acquired Beanie Babies. Dave Strader back along with Brian Engblom. Two big questions coming into this game. Could the Flames take advantage of the fact that the Flyers got in at 6 this morning and get a lead, something they haven't been able to do against anybody? And the second question, would Trefilov be able to answer the call tonight in his first game back in the NHL?
Calgary was guilty of standing around the first little bit. Trefilov made some big saves, and they said, okay, he's good, let's go. And then they got a goal in the power play. That helped a lot. Smith will get it over to Cale House on the far point. He'll take a low shot, and Willem in front completely takes the speed off the puck, changes trajectory, 1-0 Calgary. This is a bad goal for Ron Hextall. Flurry over on the boards, and then Trefilov continued his superlative effort in that first period. Terrific saves, very acrobatic. That is his style, stretching and spinning and diving. And the results for the first period, as you see there, everything pretty much even across the board. Scoring chances 6-4 for Calgary. Obviously a very good sign.
Well, the Calgary Flames don't have a lot of guys that are household names. So one of them that's not a household name is Clark Will, but he got the first big goal. The Flames with a 2-0 lead.
Oh, no. Not an offer for another credit card.
We've never gotten one like this.
What is it, made of gold?
Better. This one's a First USA Platinum Visa card.
Uh-huh, at a platinum price. And how much are they talking about? $300, $400 a year just for the privilege?
It's free. No annual fee.
What kind of interest?
Fixed introductory rate is 3.9% APR. Oh, that's the lowest I remember seeing. Maybe we should switch.
To apply for your First USA Platinum Visa card, call this number now. You don't have to be wealthy, just responsible. Having one is a credit to the way you manage your finances, so don't wait. Apply by phone today. Save now and save when the rate goes to a still low fixed 12.99% APR.
Imagine, us with a First USA Platinum Visa card. We deserve it.
They're giving us credit for our good credit.
How about some credit for my good idea?
A great tradition reborn on ESPN2. Friday Night Fights. This week, start off the new year with a Muhammad Ali retrospective. Friday Night Fights. Friday at 8 on ESPN2.
ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night is brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change.
Eric Lindros and the Philadelphia Flyers in the midst of a tough Western road swing. As you take a look at his numbers in the first period, 9 shifts, nearly 7 minutes, had 1 shot on goal. He's going to get a lot of ice time. He has responded all year long, putting up some great numbers. Here is Castles now dropping it back. 4 skaters aside as we start this second period. McGillis in the box for Philadelphia. Dave Roche in the box for Calgary. Lead pass now for Lindros, just out of his reach. Derek Morris hustling back to the Flames, gives it off to Fleury. Little flip pass ahead. Castle tried to tip it back.
Both teams careful to keep the center of the ice jammed. A lot of excess room there in this 4-on-4 situation. Some dangerous players out there. You don't want to be responsible for opening ice up too much for the opposition team.
Smith back behind his own net, leaves it there, and Fleury will come out with it now. Hands it off to Shantz on the far side. Makes a little head and shoulder fake to get by Leclaire. Now Richardson locks it away. Fleury follows up trying to control, but Brind'Amour able to get to it. Now Shantz takes it back. Brind'Amour chops it away from him. Brind'Amour hands it off now, and Richardson behind his own net will set it up there with under 30 seconds left in the coincidental minors. Just underway the second period here at the Canadian Airlines Saddledome. Trepilov steers it aside, and Housley wheels it back. Bill Housley assisting on the Fleury goal the first period. Here's Dykhouse with a chance. That was tipped by Linecow just wide. Desjardins moves in for the point. He sends it around behind the Calgary goal. Now Leclaire hands it off in the corner. Comes back to Leclaire. Leclaire trying to get loose for the shot, but Bure had him tied up. Now Housley able to move it up the boards. Leclaire with a steal. Centering attempt. Linecow couldn't get to it as it hit the skate of Hulk, but this is the first real good cycling we've seen by the Flyers. Here's Elapuka now taking it. Quick centering pass. Trepilov stops it right at the top of the crease as Linecow tried to jam it home. Well, we mentioned the fact that the Flyers got in at 6 this morning and only had about 4 hours sleep. That sounds like an excuse, but not according to number 88.
Well, it happens. It's like what you talked about. It happens to everybody, and we're all in the same boat, and you can't make excuses for it. You try and do what you can to better yourself that day and be prepared to play that night. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the fans that they're not seeing players at probably their best. But as a team, we got to bear down and have a just a real gritty road game.
It's a fact of life in the National Hockey League. On this last play, the cycling, as you mentioned, Dave, it's the payoff that matters. The cycling itself is good, sustained action down low and can wear out the opposing team, in this case the Calgary Flames. But when there is a payoff and you get chances at the net, which Philadelphia has at least 4 or 5 times in this game already, they're going to pay off sooner than later.
Elapuka now trying to keep this pressure on for the Flyers. It started in the last shift. Lindros comes in and puts a hit on Dubinsky. Weaver leans into Lindros. Flyers don't hold it in. Here's McGillis down at the line. Backhand pass, and Bertichny's going to have to come back out and let the Flyers regroup, but he gives it away in the neutral zone. Here is Masson now, tried to center. Bertichny knocked it away, and Keith Jones now recovers for the Flyers. Jones stuffs it out to center ice. Valerie Elapuka there, the former New Jersey Devil and Edmonton Oiler. Morris sends it across to Fleury. Backhands it over the head of the Philadelphia defense.
You can see Theoren Fleury there. He was in a little bit of difficulty because the puck handcuffed him. He didn't even hesitate. Flipped it right down the ice. That, again, is the Calgary Flames' plan. They want to get out of their zone extremely quickly because otherwise Philadelphia Flyers get in there and use their size.
Well, the Philadelphia Flyers, in their last 8 games, unbeaten. And look at the numbers that tell the story. That great goals against average and the penalty killing. But the one thing in this stretch that has been a negative for Roger Nielsen, the inability to protect third-period leads, and they feel it's just a little bit of a glitch in the long road that the NHL schedule is. They've been able to kind of turn that around already on this road trip, protecting a third-period lead in Chicago.
Well, when you're a top-level team and you're expected to go a long ways or do well during the regular season, first of all, and then go a long ways into the playoffs, which this Flyer team is every year, you have to address these things. And the Philadelphia Press, let's face it, is one of the toughest in the entire National Hockey League. Roger Nielsen knows that. Everybody knows that. Ron Hextall talked about blowing the leads too. And he's a good one to say, you can't avoid it. You can't say it's not happening. You have to face it. Don't sweep it under the rug. So Hextall's an experienced guy. He calls a spade a spade. They're dealing with it. They've had some mental lapses. I think it's more that than conditioning or anything else. But when you're a top team, again, they're going to pick apart anything that's not going well. And Philadelphia has a darn good record, as you pointed out, Dave. Actually, things are going much better than worse for certain lately.
Jones had it stripped away. Here's Simpson with a chance, though. That was tipped wide. Fleury will chase it down for the Flames. Jones now tried to tip it behind the net for Iginla, but the Flyers get to it and clear it back into the Calgary zone. Simpson back behind his own net now. Todd Simpson, the captain, hands it off to Housley, who's smothered right away by Dinas Zubris forward with a chance, he scores! He put it right through Trefilov, who looked like he had the angle covered. And that's what the Flyers might need with the big guys being pounded on by the Calgary Flames.
This play starts with the Phil Housley turnover. And Phil Housley's been in the league a long time, but he has a penchant for doing this. He'll hold on to the puck a little too long, and if you finish your check on him, it will create a turnover. It's exactly what happened. Housley will end up with the puck just inside his own blue line. He'll try to make a fake, and when he holds on to it, there he is right there with the puck. See, he wants to spin around. There's the finish of the check. That's where the play is really made. Now the Flames are scrambling to recover. You have 3 Philadelphia Flyers players in low, and a shot from a bad angle right at the face-off circle. Trefilov, the first time he's missed one in this game. He was spectacular in the first period. He could have had that one from the bad angle. A little late in going down. Philadelphia gets themselves on the board.
Well, you know very well that one of the things Bob Clarke is trying to do with restructuring this team is get more potential scoring on his third and fourth line. Brian Sutter talked a lot about it with his Calgary team. Referred a lot to Dallas and Detroit, the success they have, rolling 4 lines and getting production.
And in a game like this where Philadelphia played last night in San Jose and everybody's tired, that's when you need your third and fourth lines to kick in, because the Lindros, the Leclercs, the Brindamores, who play a lot every night, just can't come up with it all the time. They need some goals from your third and fourth line. You're right, Dave.
Leclerc nearly able to tip it by Derek Morris, but the young defenseman made a good recovery. Back comes Weimer now. Drives one in from 65 feet. Left hand saved by Hextall. Now Nylander working against Dykhouse. Nifty little move there by Nylander. Spreads it back to the line. Steve Smith drives a shot. Blocked in front by Richardson. And we're going to have an elbowing penalty here, I believe, against the Philadelphia Flyers. Continues to be a physical game. Flyers on the board.
What sort of road do you drive on? If it's straight, you'll want a multi-valve V6 and auto-stick transmission to make it more interesting. If it's a curvy one, you'll want anti-lock brakes and speed-sensitive power steering to help you negotiate it. If it's rough, you'll want a double wishbone suspension to help tame it. And if you want it all, you'll end up here.
Dodge Stratus.
Starts at $14,815, $18,495, impressively equipped.
It's a little chilly, isn't it, Steve?
Oh, sorry. What am I thinking? How's that? Yeah, thank you. Better? Good. Warm.
Good.
Where were we?
We were cold.
Check.
The only thing more important than your favorite receiver is your favorite card. Visa, official card of the NFL.
You look great tonight.
Thank you.
It's everywhere you want to be.
Calgary Flames have a power play goal in this game, and they'll have a chance again. Luke Richardson in the penalty box for elbowing. He was right in the crease area, ended up taking an elbowing penalty. There's 22 Black. He'll take a pretty good elbow right there on Weimer. Then he stops the puck. That was a heck of a save. You could see how far Hextall was out on the challenge of the shot. It was by him. It would have been in. Richardson saved one there.
Second power play for the Flames, who converted on their first one. Important penalty kill for the Flyers. Forbes throws the Calgary player Bure aside. Here Burrow with a chance and a save made there by Trefilov.
Well, we got 2 aggressive goalies in this one, don't we? Hextall comes a long ways out. Trefilov's not afraid either. These guys are not exactly tied to those goalposts.
Well, Bure got thrown down, and that allowed Mark Bureau to get a short-handed opportunity there. Here is shots now, number 11 for the Flames. Off the boards for Housley. Towards the net, knocked away by Therrien and cleared. Housley spinning back, would love to atone for his turnover that led to that Flyer goal. Hextall starts to come out. McGillis gets there, but now Iginla for the Flames. Watson, McGillis plays it along the glass, and it climbs into the seats out of play.
You made a point about Bure getting pulled down, and it's true, Dave. You know, there's a lot of hooking and holding penalties called on a guy like Valerie Bure when he's on offense, but this is a defensive situation. He's going back to get the puck. He's the defensive player trying to get it. He gets pulled down. There was certainly a chance to have a penalty called there, but you don't see it called as often. As an ex-defenseman, maybe I'm sensitive to that, but you see a guy get stripped. When you go back, defensemen get stripped to the puck sometimes by neat little slingshot plays, holding and hooking plays that turn into dangerous turnovers and scoring chances for the opposition. And a lot of times there are not as many penalties called in those situations as there is when a guy is on an offensive opportunity.
Eric Moore's back behind his own net now. Flyers have scored 2 shorthanded goals this year. Calgary has given up only 1. It's time for the fewest in the league. Hextall out of the net again. Actually made a save, moving back to the puck. Oh.
What a smart play by Ron Hextall. He was caught out of the net and made sure that he didn't put the puck in his own net. That's experience for you.
Well, he decided not to turn around. Yes, his back was to the puck, but actually he was facing out in the proper direction in case the centering pass came out, and he was looking over his shoulder, so he was well aware where the puck was behind him. And a penalty coming here as Nylander makes contact with Bureau number 28 of the Flyers.
Careless use of the stick here. Nylander will get at least 2 minutes here on a high sticking call. A pretty good piece of the head of Mark Bureau. There's the penalty. There's Bureau. And there's the careless use of the stick. Clipped him on the ear, it looks like. Now, Ron Hextall gets in trouble because he misplaced the puck in behind. But look what he does here. He knows the puck hit him from behind. That he stayed close to the post. He didn't know where the puck was. If he had turned around, smart shooters will use those pads and rebound the puck off and into the net. Guys like Wayne Gretzky have made a living doing that. Hextall has seen it happen to other goaltenders, probably to himself as well. That was a smart play. Kept his back to the play, hugged the post, standing behind his net. Looked pretty comical, but it was a smart play.
I don't know that I've ever seen a goalie hug the post with his entire body outside the net.
On the outside,
but you're right, it was the right play to make sure that that puck didn't squeeze in there.
Absolutely. Now that guys are so aware of it, any shooter now in a situation where he's behind the goal line, they use the goaltenders all the time. And Gretzky's the first guy I think of who really did it on a regular basis. When he didn't have another player, anybody to pass to, he shot it off the goalie and see if it went in. A lot of times it did.
26, Michael Nylander, 2 minutes for high sticking.
More skaters aside for just another 10 seconds. The Richardson penalty will expire, and the Flyers will go on their second power play of the night. 13 and a half remaining here in the second period from the Canadian Airlines Saddledome. Dave Critter, Brian Engblom, our entire National Hockey Night crew. Wishing you the very best of the holidays. Looking forward to a happy and healthy new year. Desjardins plays it ahead now for Leclerc. That play is onside. Power play underway for the Flyers. Leclerc around the boards now for Lindros. Here is Lindros. Bounces off of his stick. Shots got a piece of it, but Lindros stayed with it. Here is Brind'Amour, who has 8 power play goals for the Flyers. Lindros scored just his 4th on the power play last night. Desjardins to drive that changed direction. Leclerc got a piece of that, and he tipped it just a bit too much. Todd Simpson taken down by Lindros, who gets the puck back, trying to go short side. Trefilov had just moved off the post, and Lindros just missed his target. Now shots again, backhanded down the ice.
Philadelphia is so sharp. These guys are so smart. Leclerc and Lindros in particular, they did have 2 good scoring chances. Leclerc deflecting that one just wide, and then Eric Lindros definitely had some room. Walking out of the corner on the short side. Ooh, Eric Desjardins limping badly, going back to his own bench. He's played extremely well for him. Such a solid player. Night in and night out. Produces, even when he plays against the top lines, which he normally does. But back to Eric Lindros and his scoring opportunity on his last shift there. He had room on that short side, but he just missed it barely on the outside edge.
Of course, Eric Lindros is one of our options on tonight's ESPN.com question. Who is the front runner for the Hart Trophy as the MVP? Will Dominik Hasek make it 3 in a row? Paul Kariya?
Watch this shot. He knows it's there. That one just glanced off.
Yep.
There was room, a square foot or so up over the shoulder of Trefilov. Lindros knew it, just missed the shot.
Of course, Lindros won the Hart Trophy in the lockout shortened year of 94-95. He tied for the league lead in scoring. And Keith Tkachuk, our other option. Of course, another guy that's in this game, Theo Fleury, will probably get a lot of consideration. Usually you have to play on a team that has success. But I doubt there's anybody that's any more valuable to their team than Theo Fleury is right. Playing.
Good point.
Linecow with a chance there that was stopped by Trefilov. Here is Keith Jones now. Pulls it back for Tertichny. Just a few seconds left on this power play. Where the Flames really are playing hard tonight. Something that Brian Sutter tries to get his club to do every night for 60 minutes. Here's Richard Park now. Sends it back. Linecow winds up, didn't have a clear shot. Flames back at full strength, but the Flyers continue the pressure. Now it's chopped off the boards, recovered by Nylander. Works at the center ice. Tertishny takes over there for the Flyers. Dykhouse nearly gave it away there, but was able to clear. Now here is Schott putting it into the Flyers zone. Tertishny back to get it. Lays it around the boards, waiting on the left wing side of Forbes, who has scored the Flyers' only goal. Forbes slides it out center ice. Todd Simpson tries to fire it right back into the Flyers zone. Cleared back out of there. Here's Jerome McGinley. McGinley battling against Tertishny. Puck comes free. Park gave it away. Simpson with a drive. Score! That puck changed direction as well. A Flyer turnover leads to a Calgary goal.
A very costly turnover by Richard Park, who just tried to throw it out of the zone. There were some tired players out there for Philadelphia. Park wanted to throw it up the middle. Unfortunately, Simpson, number 27, was right there. He just threw the puck towards the net, and it went in. There's the clearing attempt, right on the stick, and a quick change of direction. Hextall looked like he had a good beat on it. He went down to cover everything low, but the change of direction by whomever it was in front went up and over the shoulder of Ron Hextall. No chance on that one. The Flames with a 3-1 lead. I'm not quite sure, Dave. Did you catch who got? Was it Jerome McGinley? I think he was in the vicinity.
McGinley was there.
He may, in fact, have deflected it. Somebody certainly did over Ron Hextall's shoulder.
Well, they're crediting the goal to Todd Simpson, so it must have hit the Philadelphia player unless it's going to be changed. But it's an unassisted goal for the Flames captain. Just his second goal of the year.
Time of the goal, 9:04.
Here is Wilm. Oh, he took a hit from Carrion. Now Fleury. Leo Fleury sends it back to the line. Simpson is there. Oh, a nice setup. Good idea there. A chance again, but Hextall down. But a penalty coming here, I believe, against Calgary. Well, the Calgary Flames responding to the Flyer goal, taking advantage of a turnover. Simpson regains the 2-goal lead.
Hey, Mr. Internet Wonder Boy. What? Over here. Over here.
You think you got it all, don't you? Well, but there's just a tiny little voice inside saying there's got to be something new, something that makes you want to stand up and say, yeah, baby, this is what I need. Yeah. Here it is. New Pepsi One. Massive cola taste, only 1 calorie. It's got it all. And you know what it's saying to you, don't you? No. Put down your mouse and curl up with me, baby, because I'm all you ever need.
I want that.
You want that.
I want that.
He wants that. Now you got it all, baby.
All the taste, 1 calorie. Only one has it all.
You have to dig deep to find the source of Intrepid's solid feel. Reinforced door openings, strategically placed steel beams, and an isolated suspension cradle all contribute to Intrepid's supple ride. Take away that sturdy foundation and you have, well, nothing. Dodge Intrepid. We're changing everything. Again. Well equipped. $20,495.
Jerome McGinley in the penalty box, as you see, for interference at 9:35 to give Philadelphia their 3rd power play.
Here's a look at the last play, and it's Richard Park, I believe, who ended up deflecting the puck. He was the one who turned the puck over for the Philadelphia Flyers, went out to try to block the shot. He did change its direction disastrously for the Flyers and Ron Hextall.
Boy, talk about adding insult to injury. Power play for Philadelphia. They trail for the 2nd time by 2. And it's gloved to the line by Dubinsky, but not out of there. Desjardins, who did limp off on his last shift, is back out there, as you see on the power play. Shot to the net was blocked by Steve Smith. Now McGillis winds up. Hands it off now to Lindros. Lindros, top of the circle, drives the shot well wide. Desjardins will chase it down.
Philadelphia smart here, going into the umbrella for a second there. Dubinsky has no sticks. You only have 3.5 players. Oh, and a great block by Dubinsky. He just got himself and the Flames out of a lot of trouble there. When one of your guys breaks a stick or loses a stick and you're killing penalties, you're in big trouble. Philly was trying to work his area. That was a huge block.
The clear around the board. McGillis, good job to hustle over and kept it away from Fleury. A pass for Lindros. Safe by Trepalov. Rebound is stuffed as well. Back-to-back saves on number 88 by Trepalov. Here's Brindamore, rink wide. Dykhouse could not settle it down. Backs up, takes a look, hands it off to Lindros. Good shot was blocked there by Todd Simpson, who went down. Here's LeClaire with it. Good pressure by the Flyers on this power play. McGillis had to go off the heel of his stick, and it trickles out to center ice. Lindros turns it right back in, hands it off for Leclerc. Has a man open in front, Langkow, but it's swept away by Trefilov. Here's Leclerc with it. Takes a look, hands it off for Langkow, but it's off his stick. And Fleury will take some time here.
You can't help but be impressed by the puck control of the big guys in the Flyers in traffic. They do such a terrific job, even when there's players all around them. They're so cool and calm in that traffic. That's where the great plays are made and the goals are scored in tough situations.
Here's Fleury out of the box again. Fleury hands it off. Shots was the second late man coming, but it's knocked away by Tertishny and cleared out to center ice. Tertishny plays it ahead now to Langkow. Langkow, long rink-wide attempt was blocked there. Roche in the neutral zone. Couldn't get it by Tertishny. Richardson plays it ahead. Took a hit from Ed Ward and looked back over his shoulder to see who it was. Now Ward plays it off the board. Needs some help. Gets it there from Gauthier. Pete Jones turns it right back into the Flames zone, but just momentarily as the Flames clear it right back out. Here is Wilm with it now. Richardson steps into him. Ward plays it off the board. Langkow plays it around behind his own net. And Therrien rolls it ahead. Missed Selapukin with the pass. Sandalwood crowd yelling Hextall, Hextall, as he makes a save on Wilm. Flames fans trying to distract the veteran Hextall, and that puck bounces away from Derek Morris out of the Flyers blue line. Housley spins with it now, plays it ahead, deflected in wide of the Flyers goal. Hextall comes out to wrist it up the glass. Housley had it bounce off his stick, and then trying to draw a penalty there was Selapukin. And Massenhoven saw the whole thing, didn't even give a hint he was going to go to the whistle. Nylander sets it up. Housley tries the shot. Hextall the save, well out of the net. Hextall, the veteran, doing it at one end, but it's Trefilov back in the National Hockey League. And how about what he's done against Derek Lindros to keep it a 3-1 Calgary lead?
Presenting the first USA PGA Tour Titanium MasterCard with a 3.9% APR for the first 6 months, just 9.99% thereafter, and a credit limit from $5,000 to $100,000. Think what it could bring you. Greens fees, $116. Graphite shaft clubs, $877. Balls, tees, $36. Hole in one. And a witness, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's the first USA PGA Tour Titanium MasterCard. Call 1-800-392-1712 now. You could save hundreds of dollars by transferring your balances from higher interest rate credit cards. And you'll receive a dozen top flight golf balls free with your first purchase or balance transfer. Call now and request the First USA PGA Tour or Senior PGA Tour Titanium MasterCard or the First USA Titanium MasterCard. Call now for your free gift.
Philly's power play has been hot lately. On that last sequence, Dan McGillis with a nice heads-up cross-ice pass to Lindros, who was all alone. He controlled it, got a shot. Trefilov was there. Trefilov was there on the rebound as well. When you're confident in your power play, you can do the good cross-ice passes, and they work.
Tyrone Garner is being hidden by the post there as the backup goaltender for the Flames, and he thought this morning at the morning skate that he was going to be getting his first NHL action tonight. He didn't even know about the Trefilov deal.
Yes, several of the Calgary players had no idea that they even acquired Trefilov. They hadn't been told yet.
Desjardins, that's blocked over the glass and out of play. But part of the story with Tyrone Garner, now there was thought that he may get into the game the other night against Colorado when Jaguar hurt his hamstring.
Right.
The situation that the Flames have with Garner, he's an overage junior, he's up from the Oshawa Generals, has never played a minute not only in the NHL but any pro league. If he plays it all for the Calgary Flames, they lose an entire year of being able to protect him in any future waiver draft. Now that's part of the consideration for the deal that was made, but I know you had a chance to talk to Al Coates, the general manager of the Flames. There was really more to it.
Right. Well, they figured that they wanted somebody that could certainly play in a National Hockey League, and somebody like Trefilov, whom they know. We pointed out that he started his career here in Calgary. That was the first notion that they had. But the fact that they really didn't want to have to use up Garner in that respect that you just described, Dave, was certainly another factor. It wasn't the first one, but it certainly was another factor, and it made them, I think, pull the trigger pretty quick and get this thing accomplished and get Trefilov here for this game tonight. why give up a whole year of eligibility for the kid if they don't have to?
Right. Well, they're expecting Reagan could be back sometime in the next few days.
Yeah, they play again on New Year's Eve, and that's, I think, the target date for him to be back.
Well, you pointed out at the top of the show, 11 games. Oh, collision there with Smith and Lindros. And Reagan was the first star in 6 of those games. Here is Carrion. Hands it off Leclerc. 60-footer. Trepalov steers that to the far side. Weimer with a big hit on Lindros. It looked like before the puck got there. Here is Richard Park. Tries to go back to Lindros, who's gotten back
Here
up in the
comes
hit.
Weimer again.
And Weimer's going to get a penalty this time. Backhand shot just wide of Trepalov. And Weimer went to the well one too many times.
It's going to be a charging call the second time around for Weimer. Eric Lindros looked as if he just absorbed the hit and never even really felt it, which of course he did. But Weimer will go to the penalty box, and it'll give the Flyers a chance on the power play, which Eric Lindros will gladly accept. But Weimer has tried to pound on him whenever he can. Here's at the other end of the ice, it was Eric Lindros. He saw Smith the last second. He tried to avoid him and ended up getting spilled. Here's Weimer. This is a good hit. That is not the penalty. That's good contact there by Weimer. Right after that, same sequence, coming from behind, and I think that has a lot to do with it. It didn't look very, especially in slow motion there, it didn't look like much of a hit. It was a charging call, but because he came from behind and had a couple of steps going, the combination gave him the penalty.
And the other hit that you said was clean, and it was as far as the contact. The puck had not yet gotten to Lindros. I mean, it could have been interference. It was close, and maybe Van Massenhoven fell, hey, I gave him an opportunity.
All those things together, you get 2 minutes, call it whatever you want.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So the Flyers have a chance to get back to within one. A shot by McGillis. And then Schatz looked over his shoulder after he threw McGillis down to see if he was going to get a call. But nothing coming. Delapukin sends it low, gets it back. Delapukin and Keith Jones playing a little quick throw and catch. Trying to get the Flames penalty killers to get out of their formation. It comes to McGillis, sends it across Langkow to the net. That's up in the air, and Trepalov went back to try to play it. And it comes to Delapukin. Delapukin out now to the left point for Tertichny. Along the boards now for Langkow. It's tipped away by Todd Simpson, recovered by Keith Jones. Now Jones again. Took a pretty good cross-check there from Simpson. Comes to Delapukin. His pass blocked by Gauthier.
It seems to me that the Flyers' defense would be more effective if they got closer together the way the Calgary Flames are playing them. One forward is down low, helping in front of the net the way he has to. If the Philly defensemen get closer together, they'll get a better shot from a good angle.
Well, there's a pretty good chance there by McGillis. And we get a whistle here. And Trepalov just a little bit slow after making that save. Let's go back to our studios and John Butchergrass. John?
In a game filled with fights, the Avalanche on the power play. Claude Lemieux has been at the point for the Avalanche of late. He throws it towards Peter Forsberg, who tips it in. Colorado 24-0-7 last 2 years when he scores.
Okay, John, thanks very much. John Butchergrass will be in our NHL Tonight studios following the game. The hockey show for hockey fans with highlights of that contest between Colorado and Vancouver. This one as well as the rest of the news around the NHL. Face off to the left of the Calgary goal with just over 4.5 minutes. A steal by Leclerc. Couple of pops at it. Trepalov was down, but he's able to make the stop. And then Cale Hull's trying to rub it in a bit on John Leclerc.
John Leclerc takes it to the hole from anywhere, doesn't he? Whenever he can, as quick as he can. He'd like to be a great basketball player under the hoop. In the paint, there's nobody better in the National Hockey League than John Leclerc. The quickness tried to fool Trefilov to see if he's sliding across a little too quickly. Trefilov was there on the near post where he needed to be. But John Leclerc with that great reach, look how far out he had that stick. He had a chance to go wide. He had a chance to go 5-hole. He had a chance to go short side. Trefilov took them all away.
3 for a quarter. Now here's Brind'Amour. Nice pass through traffic to get it to Dykhouse at the left point.
Those are the passes on your power play when it's not working that get intercepted and end up down the ice. But when it's working well, they're there and they work.
Dykhouse left point, looking for somebody open. Hands it off down to Richard Park. Park at the hash mark. Takes a look. He snaps it across. Desjardins, top of the circle drive. That was blocked. Good timing there by Steve Smith going down. Hassles with it now. And he dumps it back behind his own goal. Holtz now went back up the boards the other way with it. Flyers able to hold it in. Desjardins to Dykhouse. Winds up. Drives a shot. Trepalov to save. Big rebound up in the air, batted down with a high stick as Jason Weimer is out of the box. So a big penalty kill as Leclerc does not agree with the fact that the whistle blew on that play.
To see a bit of what makes Dodge Intrepid fast, let's cut to the quick. It has a sparkling 200 horsepower gem of an aluminum engine, grippy independent suspension, crisp steering, and a highly functional driving space. Intrepid demonstrates a lot of powerful thinking, no matter how you slice it. Well equipped, $20,495.
It knows 2 speeds. Stop and go. It just beat a series of the toughest stop-and-go driving tests in the world, and it's brand new. Go ahead. Guess. You have 4.3 seconds. Introducing Pennzoil with new Pure Base. Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
Steve Smith made a good play at the end of that penalty kill with a shot block. There's a time and a place, but Calgary was running around inside their own zone. Eric Desjardins has the puck at the point. Smith knows that Desjardins wants to keep it low on the power play for tips, deflections, etc. He timed it perfectly, took everything away down low. Desjardins would have had to shoot that at least 3.5 feet up in the air in order to get it over him. He smothered that play completely. Calgary got it out of the zone, and they finished off the penalty kill. Good play.
Native of Glasgow, Scotland, 35-year-old Steve Smith, 15th year in the National Hockey League. And speaking of Steve Smith, yes, he's played 15 years. He also coached one season as an assistant here last year. We asked him what he learned.
I think the main thing that I learned as a coach, or that I took away from coaching back to the playing part of it, is that coaches are humans and they make mistakes, and that they are guys that are very demanding. But I think the most important part of it is that coaches look at players and want to help them on a daily basis. And, you know, sometimes as a player you feel the coach is against you, but that certainly isn't the situation. The better the players are playing, the better you are as a coach. And I think that you find out that if a guy's playing well, you seem to be the genius, and if a guy's playing poorly, you seem to be the scapegoat as well.
Isn't that the truth? Yep. Exactly right. And it's true. The coaches always do want to help the players, and they do look bad an awful lot of the time. It looks like they're just being too hard on guys, but that's part of the job, too.
Here comes Zubras. He is taken down by Gauthier as there was nearly a knee-to-knee type collision, and Trefilov very aggressively coming out to get that loose puck.
Denny Gauthier is very aggressive. He's a good young kid, great size. He likes to hit in the open ice. He likes to step up. And his eyes were as big as watermelons coming across the ice on Zubras because he saw Zubras was looking down. But Zubras could feel him coming. You could see him pull up. His eyes weren't even up yet, or I mean his head wasn't even up yet, but he could feel something going. That's the instincts of an NHL player. Gauthier got a piece of him, and you're right, Dave. Some of those types of situations certainly can lead to serious knee injuries. Unfortunately for Zubras, there was none on that play.
Face-off control by the Flyers. Tarancuk right through and in the glove of Andrei Trefilov, who is playing in his 50th National Hockey League game tonight.
Stay tuned. Coming up in the second intermission, we get the Giants.
Well, we talk about the Calgary Flames and Trefilov coming back home. The question surrounding
running awash in a lot of dollars, and it'll come down to that. Fleury does not want to talk to other clubs. Actually, technically not allowed to,
right?
But it kind of happens, you know. If somebody's going to make a trade for him, they want to know what he wants. Well, he's being quiet about that. He's playing it out. He's going to go the free agent route.
Not being so quiet on this shift here at Darren Fleury as he creates a scoring chance. The Flyers come back the other way. Here is Forbes. He has the only Philadelphia goal. Trying to get around Housley. Housley smartly took it away, plays it up the board. Tertishny holds it in now. A soft pass here for Zubras to the backhand. Trefilov makes the save and he hangs on.
Well, Theo Fleury is the centerpiece of this franchise. There's no doubt about that. He, year in and year out, will produce for you. He's the smallest player in the NHL, doesn't matter. Has a huge heart. He hits people. He's nasty to play against. He's always into traffic. He has tremendous hands, instincts, and he's like a human bowling ball on some shifts, like that last one. Doesn't take anything from anybody.
Darren Fleury, a former 50-goal scorer. The Flames franchise all-time leader in goals scored, and you see how important it is. When he scores, 9-3. When he doesn't, just 3-16-3.
The fans love him here, Dave, and it's great to see that. I mean, he's had some pretty lean years here the last few, too. He was on some great teams when he first came up. He won the Stanley Cup. Boy, there's been some lean ones lately, and he still says he definitely wants to stay, and he wants to deal with the Flames first. We'll see what next year holds for him.
Icing coming up here against the Philadelphia Flyers. Well, Theoren Fleury, I mean, you mentioned that he'll play in any kind of situation, even though he's small of stature. And you made another point that the fans absolutely love him. And there's a lot of different ways you can show that. You can cheer and react when a player does something good on the ice. But earlier this month, the Calgary fans actually showed their love for Theoren Fleury in a different way. There was a game played in this building against the Dallas Stars back in the first week in December when Fleury was very badly cut and had bled all over his jersey. And not a very pretty sight there at Fleury. But look at this. A fan from the crowd had an authentic Fleury jersey. The only problem, had all the autographs all over it.
Then he realized that, he realized that and took it off because players not going to want to go out there with autographs, including his own, all over his shirt. So he was a little embarrassed about that. But it was just kind of an on the spur of the moment thing. It wouldn't delay things much. It's my jersey, my number. Okay, I'll put it on. But when he saw it, he took it off.
I wonder if that fan bought that in a gift shop somewhere. It's just puck bouncing by the Hextall says, you know what? If it's game worn, it's worth a lot more money.
Yeah, no kidding.
He did put it on for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Delapuka now for the Flyers, drops it back at Tertichny. Plays it ahead for Langkow. Langkow hands it off. Keith Jones, quick pass for Delapuka to the back. Can't save, Truffle off. Rebound loose in front. Jones sweeps it back to the line. Desjardins' shot was deflected by Jones. Castles plays it around the boards with a flame zone. Valerie Bure trying to bear down over there on Desjardins. Delapuka with a hit, but the Flames able to clear.
Well, Calgary has scored in this period, but Philadelphia is really establishing their presence in the Calgary zone. Calgary was better in the first period than they have been in the second. Philly's established their game down low, and they're pounding Calgary.
Dubinsky's shot was blocked well wide. It's over a minute left here in the second period, and we have not seen Eric Lindros now for a couple of shifts.
And we haven't seen him since the hit, I don't think, by Weimer.
The 3 straight hits with the collision with Smith and then the 2 hits, including the charge. And we did see Lindros on the bench immediately after that. But we have not seen him here for the last couple of shifts.
And I said it looked like he just absorbed that one hit and didn't show anything at all. The one that actually drew the penalty for Weimer. But so far, we don't see him down there on the bench.
Yeah.
We're a long ways up here. I can't see him from my position here. So we'll try and get word and find out what exactly was wrong.
Yeah.
It could be, in fact, just be an equipment problem, but it could be just coincidence. We haven't seen him since the Weimer hits. And it's not the one that he took the penalty on, but it's the one before that.
Yeah, you're right.
Weimer really cracked him along the boards. It could have given him a problem.
Off the face-off, coming up with it, Basson. His shot deflected over the glass behind. Ron Hextall out of play, and we got a player cut. And Carl Dykhouse.
Ooh, yeah. Yikes. He's got some blood dripping there. High stick came up. Clipped him pretty well. Looks like the bridge of the nose. Ooh. So first Lindros not on the bench, and now Carl Dykhouse obviously going to leave for some repairs. I talked to Carl just for a moment just as we came to the rink here tonight. He said, are you happy to be back as the Philadelphia Flyers? You bet. Here's the face-off and the play that developed.
Yeah,
we're looking to see where Dykhouse got hurt.
I think he's already been hit.
He's already been hit, yeah. He's in the middle of the screen there. He's down on one knee. Still couldn't quite pick up exactly what happened to him there, but it must have been an errant stick that came up on him. But he is a happy man. He's glad to go back to the Philadelphia Flyers. Again, we said the theme for Roger Nielsen, Bobby Clark, and the Flyers seems to be home for the holidays. Renberg becoming rejoining the Flyers a week or two ago, and now Carl Dykhouse rejoining.
Speaking of rejoining, this is only the second or third shift, I believe, for Alexander Daigle, who wears number 11 now for the Flyers after switching from number 19. Renberg is going to wear that, or has worn it since coming back. He played only 3 shifts last night, 1 minute 55 seconds, Alexander Day. He really has been in Roger Nielsen's doghouse. He was a guy, remember, when they acquired him that they thought could be a big second-line scorer for this Philadelphia team.
Exactly. When they talked about wanting to add some speed to their lineup, he certainly is a speedster, but he's had trouble fitting in, and Alexander Day certainly does seem to be in Roger Nielsen's doghouse. There are a lot of rumors, as there is wont to be, when a good team has a player of Daig's credentials, but he has never really kind of lived up to the hoopla of being a number 1 pick overall. Several tough years with Ottawa on a team that really struggled. You know, when it first started out, difficult situation, comes to a Flyer team that's an excellent team. You hope he fits in and becomes that missing piece of the puzzle that you want, but it hasn't happened for him.
Well, we've been told that Eric Lindros is in the Flyer dressing room and has taken a lot of the equipment off, but seems to be just relaxing. I mean, it could be a case of just being exhausted with the amount of time he's played and the travel that the Flyers went through to get here from San Jose. Here's a steal by Roche now. Throws it out to open ice for Wilm. Wilm, 10 seconds left in the period. Throws it back in front. It's hit here. And Hextall the save on Roche.
Great read by Ronnie Hextall, because this is a terrific play as it came up down the ice. You had Wilm and Roche going towards Ron Hextall. Hextall could see it forming in front of him. A terrific pass on the backhand by Wilm. This is nice touch. In behind both defenders. Roche gets one whack at it, but Ronnie Hextall had slid across and took away everything low. Didn't have much room. Watch this. Backhand pass, feather. Philadelphia with 2 guys coming back in the middle of the ice, but so fixated on Wilm, nobody is looking at Roche steaming in off the left wing.
You may have noticed on that one low angle replay that the arm of Van Massenhoven was up in the air, and Rod Brindamore has gone to the box here at 19:55 of the second period, we believe, for holding the stick.
Let's see if we can pick it up. Holding the stick call. Second time Brindamore has been called for it.
Yeah.
And again behind the play.
Yep.
This is about 20 feet farther back from where it happened the first time around. But Rod Brindamore perhaps a little tired. When you're not moving your feet, you end up taking more penalties, particularly ones like that. And he's tired. He's on the back check. He doesn't want to lose Fleury. Gives him a tug. Gets nailed.
5 seconds. They win the draw. Fleury's shot, though, doesn't get through. He races back and can't get to it quite in time. Well, it was a 2-0 lead for the Flames, each team getting a goal. Ron Hextall made a great save late in the period to keep it at 3-1 Calgary. Stay with us. ESPN News takes over on the other side of this.
Give your customers the help they need whenever they need it with a self-service website by IBM.
At the new Dodge, we're full of ideas. Example, a $700 plus package packed with ideas like power locks, power windows, heated power mirrors, and more at no extra charge on the roomy cab-forward Dodge Stratus. Add the subtraction of $1,000 cash allowance, and you have the best idea of all. Less money, more Stratus. Now select the cash allowance or low 1.9 financing on Stratus.
I grew up with my mother. You know, I got along with her good. We communicated. We did things together. When I started using pot, it just went downhill. Because I kind of had an idea that she knew what I was doing, but I didn't put myself in her shoes and slow myself down and really think, wow, what am I doing to my mother? There were times when I did, when I would hear her crying in the next room, or, and it would affect me, but then I'd just brush it off and be like, well, let me get high, I ended up turning my back on my family.
Beauty, adventure, drama. All these and more can be yours in the wonderful world of art. And with this free art test from Art Instruction Schools, you can find out if you have the interest and desire needed to become a serious art student. To get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number. Don't delay. Call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-344-8300.
Presenting a space-age innovation in televised college basketball. It's called ESPN Full Court. It gives you tons of great college hoops action you couldn't get otherwise. Call DirecTV or Prime-Star for ESPN Full Court. 1-800-344-8300. Presenting a space-age innovation in televised college basketball. It's called ESPN Full Court. It gives you tons of great college hoops action you couldn't get otherwise. Call DirecTV or Prime-Star for ESPN Full Court.
From the worldwide leader in sports, this is ESPN News.
That it is, and welcome to halftime intermission edition of ESPN News. My name is Trey Wingo. This is Jason Jackson. You, of course, know you're at the second intermission between the Flames and the Flyers. 3-1 the Flames on top. We'll get you back to the game in just a bit, but first, Jason, it's our job to let them know everything else going on in the world of sports.
And why not start on the ice since they're watching ice activity? Islanders and the Lightning. The Lightning have not won in their last 6 trips to the ice, trying to change some things on this night. Second period, no score. And Vincent Lecavalier on the breakaway, and he's tripped, but it goes in. 1-0 Lightning, his 6th goal of his young career. And then in the second, we're still in the second, 1-0 Lightning on the power play. And Sandy McCarthy finished up strong with the goal on the tip-in, 2-0 Lightning, his 3rd goal of the season. Third period, best chance for the Islanders and Robert Reichel on the breakaway, but Bill Ranford the save to earn his 15th career shutout. It is done, 3-0 the final on this one. New York snapped a 5-game winning streak in Tampa Bay with the loss. Ranford, 35 saves, as I mentioned, and recording his first shutout this season, also 15th of his career. The Lightning snapped a 6-game winless streak and 9-game home losing streak with the 3-0 victory.
Well, things had been going so well for the Coyotes, unbeaten the entire month of November. At one point, owners of a 14-game unbeaten streak and an 11-game home unbeaten streak. Now they're just getting beaten up, and it's their best players that are taking it, namely Keith Tkachuk and Jeremy Roenick. Tkachuk suffered a broken rib in Monday night's loss to the Kings and will be out some 3 weeks. It happened on this hit by the Kings' Mattias Nordstrom, which, by the way, in a game, snapped that 11-game home unbeaten streak. In the same contest, Jeremy Roenick suffered a concussion on this third-period hit by Doug Bodger, and he'll be out at least a week. In case you were wondering, no penalty was called on either hit. And the winners are the Stars' Ken Hitchcock and the Sabres' Lindy Ruff. The 2 head coaches were chosen today to be the 2 head coaches in the NHL's 1999 All-Star Game set for January 24th in Tampa. Hitchcock will coach the North American squad of Canadian and U.S. players. Ruff gets the much rougher job, pronunciation-wise, leading the world team into battle. Action for you now, Avalanche and Canucks, and the Launch leading it 1-0 on a Peter Forsberg goal, his power play tally. Keep in mind, Colorado has 2 goals and less in their last 7 games. This is the 4th meeting already between these teams. Vancouver has won 2 of 3. Vancouver shut out in its last 2 games, and they still have not tallied. The Canadiens and the Oilers, and right now the Oilers not having fun. The Canadiens are, and this is rare. Brett Clark a goal. Mark Recchi has a pair. Shane Corson has a power play tally, and Sergei Stolek also has a goal. For the Oilers, Rem Murray has tallied and has Josef Baranek. Montreal, of course, ended their 11-game winless streak Saturday, and they look to make it 2 in a row, 5-2 after 2. A reminder, you are at intermission between the Flames and the Flyers. It's an F game, second intermission. This is ESPN News. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
They wanted freedom. The town wanted order.
Hands down.
But the harder they try to control them,
We do things around here my way.
the harder it is to stop them.
Let's roll!
Get ready to shake up the system.
Sex and football.
I raised you to be a winner.
Varsity Blues.
Thank God I like sex.
Rated R. Special sneak preview Friday, January 8th. Starts everywhere January 15th.
America Online introduces new version 4.0.
It can't get any easier. Instant messages.
We've spent over $1 billion to create a state-of-the-art high-speed network, and with 56K, connections are faster than ever.
Everyone I know is on it.
America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
This is just too good to keep to ourselves. We have got to let the people know.
Everybody, I have an announcement. 10-10-3-2-1 is now better than ever.
How's that?
Now you save 50% on calls over 10 minutes.
Southern Miss's Lee Roberts showcases his rocket arm in a war against the elusive running of Idaho's Joel Thomas. The Humanitarian Bowl. Southern Miss versus Idaho at 3. Tomorrow on ESPN2.
College football, the Alamo Dome Bowl. K-State and Purdue. Michael Bishop looking to lead the Wildcats past Drew Brees, who played his high school ball in Austin 90 minutes north. First quarter, no score. Bishop throws it right to Billy Gustin, who happens to play for Purdue, back to the 29. It was a tough start for Mike. Early second quarter, Purdue driving. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Brees with time. Fires a strike. to Chris Daniels, 7-0. Purdue breeze easy. But the Wildcats would respond. Goes right through the punter's hand on the snap, and they would recover down to the 1. The turnover led to a Darnell McDonald touchdown pass from Michael Bishop. But later in the second, Purdue up 10-7. Drew Brees now decides to air it out from the 30. Looking long for Isaac Jones, right over the top of the zone, and this is not what Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator for K-State, wanted to see. Good thing we're on cable. Purdue up 17-7 at the half, and just starting in the third quarter, they still lead at 17-7. Keep in mind, 5 straight wins for the Boilermakers coming in, and they also won the 97 Alamo Bowl game. K-State, you have to wonder about their motivation. They never thought they would be on the outside looking in the BCS Bowl picture. Earlier on in the Music City Bowl, Virginia Tech and Alabama. First quarter, Virginia Tech's Al Clark basically just trying to stay alive when the pocket collapsed, and he stayed alive. 43 yards, he stayed into the end zone. Touchdown, the Hokies go up 7-0. Third quarter, 10-7 Hokies. Alabama from their own 6. Andrew Zhao throws it right to Phillip Summers, who was wearing the wrong color red. Tackled at the 3, that would set up a Lamont Pegues 2-yard touchdown run to put the Hokies up 17-7. Still in the third quarter now. 3rd and 8, Bama. Oh, he's got Sean Alexander wide open, Zhao does, but Alexander can't hang on to the ball. Zhao can't believe it, and on the very next play, it gets worse. Corey Moore right up the cut, blocks it. Virginia Tech recovers. One of 2 block kicks on the night for the Hokies, keeping up with something they've done ever since Frank Beamer was introduced in Blacksburg. And Chiron Stith introduces himself to the end zone. End zone, hello, Chiron. 24-7 Hokies at that point, and it gets even worse. Virginia Tech rolls the final 38-7. The first ever win for Virginia Tech against Bama in 11 career meetings. Second worst bowl loss in school history for the Tide.
To the hoop, UNC and Cal early in the first half. Tar Heels up by 1. Ed Cota, no look feed to Brendan Haywood. The youngster's good. Tar Heels by 3. Later in the first, Cal trailing 11-6. Gino Carlisle drives the baseline. Look at the pretty reverse lay-in. Golden Bears within 3. UNC with a response. His name is Max Owens. Bang. Tar Heels up by 6. We check in on the score in Oakland, California. And it's a good one, 69-66, second half, 2 minutes left in this one. Cal with the lead late in the contest. Golden Bears have won 6 straight. We check in on Kentucky and Tennessee State, the number 6 team in the land, victorious in this one. Snap a 2-game losing streak, 5-0 at home this season. Jamal McGlure leading the way, 15 points and 8 rebounds. Wildcats shot 56% from the floor in this victory. As for the game at hand, all National Hockey Night on the dues of Flames and Flyers. Flames in control, 3-1. Now back to the conclusion of the contest. ESPN News fans, stay where you are.
I started smashing guitars really, really early. I was 12 years old, and I was sent to live with my grandmother by the sea. And one day she burst in on me and John Entwistle. She came in and she said, "Turn down that disgusting, awful row." I very calmly got up, and I picked up the amplifier, and I threw it against the wall. And it just kind of went, and the back of it fell off, and all the tubes burst, and it fell on the ground. And I just remember John kind of going, "Great."
Good day, Bob and Doug McKenzie in the Great White North. We was doing some extreme skiing, eh?
Yeah, we got extremely tired, so we decided to call it a day.
2 days, eh?
Now I'm kind of extremely parched.
Hey, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Hey, Toad's Head.
Rescued by Molson Ice on a mountainside.
Molson Ice, an adventure in every bear.
Geez, I can't feel my extremities, eh? Oh, well, let's suck foam.
I'm a scout. I better know a good thing when I see it. The first USA Platinum Visa card, it's a good thing.
I can tell a winner. Here's a tip. Invest in Platinum. Switch to First USA Platinum Visa.
You know a real winner when you see it. So switch to First USA Platinum Visa card and get a low introductory rate of 3.9% for 6 months.
I transferred the balances from my other cards onto this. Then I paid a low rate and saved a bundle.
After 6 months, enjoy a low 12.99 fixed annual percentage rate. You'll also enjoy a credit limit of up to $100,000. You've earned it. You're responsible. You know how to manage your finances. Call now and we'll make a sweet deal even sweeter with this garment bag and amenity kit. Free with first purchase or balance transfer. Platinum Prestige. Platinum benefits with a low 3.9% introductory APR and no annual fee. Call now and switch to a winner. First USA Platinum Visa.
Check out SportsCenter every night for a preview of the 1999 ESPYs and then hit ESPN.com for a full slate of this year's nominees. See how your picks stack up against ESPN's when the awards are televised February 15th. Watch SportsCenter and log on to ESPN.com for a complete ESPY preview.
Well, the Flames crowd has not had a whole lot to cheer about at home. They've seen their team lose 4 straight in this building, but a 3-1 lead for the Flames over the Philadelphia Flyers after 40 minutes. Dave Strader back along with Brian Engblom. Good news, bad news in that period. Good news, the Flames responded after the Flyers got back to within a goal. Bad news, though, for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, you bet. There were some good things that happened for them. They got some sustained pressure. They did score one goal, but the Calgary club did a good job in creating a 3-1 lead. That helped them an awful lot. So Philadelphia had a lot of things go right, and here's the goal by the Flyers that gets them on the board. But then Eric Lindros gets popped a couple of times. That time by Steve Smith. He gets dumped around.
Popped a little bit there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Weimer takes him in really hard here. Then the second time, Weimer will hit him really hard from behind here again. Eric Lindros left the game, and he has a mild concussion. We've just been told will not be back. This is last year when he got hit by Darius Kasparaitis. That was his second major concussion in his career. So Lindros has been there before, unfortunately, and hopefully this won't last too long.
Todd Simpson, the 25-year-old captain, gets a hug from Theo Fleury. The Flames with a 2-goal lead over the Flyers after 2.
With a home loan from Superior Bank, you can consolidate high-interest debt into one lower monthly payment.
We went from 6 payments to 1.
We were able to consolidate our credit card debt into one lower monthly payment.
I was able to drop about 5 payments a month.
It's great to have money left over every month.
Even if your credit is less than perfect, call Superior Bank now at 1-888-678-7777.
Thank you, Superior.
Have you outgrown your current position or find yourself unemployed? Then it's time to look in the National Business Employment Weekly. You'll find top jobs with top companies and advice on landing them.
Order 6 issues of the National Business Employment Weekly now for only $19, a special introductory offer. Look in the National Business Employment Weekly. You'll never know what you'll find. To subscribe, call 800-238-3800. That's 800-238-3800.
Alex, check out what's going to be sitting in my living room once I win the ESPN Big Monday Sweepstakes presented by Bud Light.
Brad, that bad boy's going to be sitting in my living room.
Just play the ESPN Big Monday Sweepstakes. Stay tuned or log on to ESPN.com for more details.
ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night is brought to you by Molson Ice, an adventure in every beer. And by Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car.
Welcome back to Calgary, where the Flames enjoy a 2-goal lead over the Flyers, in spite of the fact that the Flyers had a big shot advantage. But when these two teams met December 17th in Philadelphia, look at that. The Flyers had a 2-0 lead, and the Flames scored 3 in the third and ended up a 3-3 tie. So the Flames should know full well that cannot relax as the home team. I don't think you have anything for certain, even though we know that Eric Lindros will not be back in this game. A mild concussion, they are calling it, but because of his history and the hit that we showed you from last year from Darius Kasparaitis, they're not going to take any chances with number 88. Fleury, lead pass now for Will. Fleury steps into him as Hextall steers it to the boards. Colin Forbes able to backhand it, but he put it right up into the penalty box and out of play.
Brian Sutter has been pretty happy with this club in some areas with regard to physical play. They played a couple of games back-to-back against Vancouver right before Christmas. He said, we beat them up. We had them so tired, but we never finished them off. They never got anything going offensively. So he's really been pushing his big guns, the Burets, the Fleurys, the Castles, to come up with some points. Now, Fleury has scored a goal in this game here tonight. The Calgary Flames have been on top of their game. They've done a good job against the Flyers, but they're going to have to improve in this third period over the second period because Philadelphia made big inroads in Calgary's zone in that second period.
Back to the line, Housley. Backhands it now for Fleury. Power play continuing now with the penalty to Brind'Amour, who starts this period in the box. Fleury throws it across. Valerie Bure playing the right point of the power play. Throws it in deep for Jerome McGinley. Now it's Desjardins coming up with it for the Flyers. Short-handed, looking for Zubrus going wide. Zubrus plays it off the board. Trying to cut in, but Cook straight backhand shot. Oh, and it was up in the air. It's in! It is in the net! I thought Trepilov made an absolutely circus save, and it somehow kept that puck out of there. But Dainis Zubrus with a huge short-handed goal, and what a strong move this is, Brian.
This is a huge goal for the Flyers, and this is just effort. Excellent effort, first of all, by Desjardins to get the puck out of the zone. Then watch Zubrus. Just lean, work, take it in. Almost gets pulled off his feet. But all that commotion going right through the crease, and I think he did get a second stab at it. Here's Trefilov standing his ground. He definitely gets a piece of it, but perhaps his own momentum or his inability to absolutely control the puck, it seems to slide underneath him. Here it is. We'll lose sight of it right here. Right there, it must be underneath his shoulder area. He never controls it. Definitely over the line. And Philly's back in this game, only down by 1.
Third of the year for Zubrus from Desjardins, and it was the forward Bure that was back there because he's the point man on the power play, and that's the chance you take sometimes. When you have a forward playing the point on the power play, if he's forced to play as a defenseman in a situation like that, here is Fleury. Fleury, top of the circle, hands it on. Housley, a try, save. Hextall rebound was there, but it's McGillis for the Flyers that will wrap it around the boards. Great job by Derek Morris to keep it in momentarily. But Colin Forbes now will fire it right into the crowd behind Trepilov and out of play.
Well, when you get efforts like that by your third, fourth line guys, we've talked about it for the Flyers. That's something they've been trying to build on from last year. Get more scoring from the third and fourth lines. Zubrus has been on the first line sometimes, and anywhere from number 1 to number 4. But this shorthanded effort, and Dave, good point by you, when you have Bure back playing defense, he's not a very big man, and Zubrus used his speed and his power to get right through Bure, took it through the crease, knocked the goaltender a kilter, and the puck ended up over the line.
Lithuanian board, Dainis Zubrus from the same hometown that produced Darius Kasparaitis. At 20 years of age, it's hard to believe when you think of Zubrus. It just seems like he's been around for so long.
Yeah.
Came in with such high expectations. Centering Casper Bassett. He was being hooked by Keith Jones, who's going to get a penalty here. Brind'Amour had just come out of the box, and Keith Jones is going to go in.
When you go to the net hard, you're going to draw penalties. Good things will happen. Coaches will harp on it 1,000 times over the course of the season. Bobby Basson goes to the net hard. Keith Jones is too far behind him, and he's going to have to put the hook on him. On the left of your screen, there's Basson going. Jones knows it's a dangerous situation. He did what he had to do. Basson still got the scoring chance. Looked like he did get a piece of that puck, but certainly not as good a chance as he would have liked to because of what Jones did.
It really goes back to a lot of what Brian Sutter was saying this morning. Remember, we talked about how the good teams like Dallas and Detroit, they go to the net. They always have somebody going to the net with the puck wide. And he talked about guys like McCarty and Draper, role players, guys like Carbonneau for Dallas. And that's exactly what Bob Basson did there. And he also made that football analogy, talking about how the passing game doesn't work unless you establish the run.
Ground game, yep.
And he says, it's the same thing in hockey. It's great to be running around and banging guys, but you got to be able to finish with the other part of your game. And so far tonight, they've been able to kind of get both things going.
You bet. He's going to be reinforcing that on the bench. It was an excellent play by Basson. Brian Sutter loves that kind of stuff, and he'll be telling his players on the bench, continue to play like that. It's a one-goal hockey game here. Philadelphia's way too good a team to sit on a one-goal lead if you're the Calgary Flames right now.
Well, the last power play produced a Philadelphia goal. Morris with a drive in front of chance for shots. And then Bure had an opportunity at the side of the net. It comes back out left point. Housley quickly moves it for Morris. Fleury back to Housley with a nice pass. It's tipped by Colin Forbes, gloved out of the air, and Forbes will clear it.
Very nearly a goal by the Calgary Flames there. The pass from close range was just a little bit too hot to handle there for Valerie Bure. He had an open net if he could have handled it.
Bure was tripped up there by Zubrus after taking a nice feed from Fleury. Flyers able to clear. Here comes Brind'Amour barreling into the Calgary zone. Tries to set it up for Zubrus. Intercepted. Eric Morris starts it back the other way for Fleury. Into the zone, and a collision there with Zubrus as that play offside of the Flyers blue line.
Nice job by Dan McGillis there to stand up and force that offside there at the blue line. A collision of 4 bodies actually coming together, 2 for Philadelphia and 2 for the Calgary Flames on the rush, and particularly with Calgary being so good on the rush, that was the offside play I was just talking about. Zubris was coming across from the side, but it was number 3, Dan McGillis, standing up at the line, facing that oncoming speed of Theo Fleury, causing that offside.
Early in the third period, the Flyers have scored shorthanded here to cut into the Flames' lead. As you see, 3-2 Calgary leading. Working on another man advantage here. Smith rolls it across, and Housley will drive it in behind Hextall, who does a good job to get back there, and Hextall will wrist it down the ice. Trefilov moves it along now. G. Smith will roll it back. Here comes Housley with it now, number 6 for the Calgary Flames. Second stint with Calgary. His outstanding career for Phil Housley. Supers will go around the boards with it. And it comes down to Luke Richardson. He clears it.
That was a nice play by Housley. Again, talking about quarterbacking the play on the power play, coming up the ice is the most important part, I think. Housley was looking one way like a quarterback, then quickly going to the secondary receiver on the offside, and Calgary got inside the zone.
McGinley now at the hash mark. Sends it deep. Nylander with it. Nylander banks it off the boards. Castles gives it back to him. Out to the line. Cale Holt fakes a shot, rather. Out of the box comes Keith Jones. Shot from the angle was deflected in behind the Philadelphia goal. Desjardins now moves it away from Nylander, and Jones, number 20 for the Flyers, plays it ahead. Mark Bureau couldn't get a stick on it.
Calgary has not been able to swarm Philadelphia's net very often. They've come in quickly and stung the Flyers on the plays that they have scored. But the Flyers have done a nice job down low. The forwards coming back to help, and the D doing well in front of Hextall.
Langkow shot appeared to fool Trefilov, and fortunately for Trefilov, Van Massenhoven lost sight of it and covers up. It was a 2-goal lead for the Flames, but it's a precarious 1-goal advantage now.
Hey, we're the McKenzie brothers, and we're here to stop a heinous crime.
Yeah, they're sending Molson Canadians south of the border instead of our house where it belongs.
But we got a plan, eh?
Step out of the truck, please, sir. We offer a complimentary breakfast and free donuts, eh? How about a little deodorant for those long, stinky rides?
Au revoir, eh? Try putting it in low, eh?
What do you think I'm doing? I'm gunning it.
Like winter conditions.
Ordinarily, a Saturn owner reporting over 100,000 miles on his car just isn't that uncommon. But in the first year, that sort of caught our attention, so we decided to keep track of him. He came in for oil changes and tune-ups, but nothing major, until he hit the 300,000-mile mark.
Mr. Bingham, looks like we got a problem here.
Looks good. Got to admit, for a car seat, 300,000's a pretty good run.
Trefilov made a nice save on that last play, but he didn't know if he had it or not. Langkow makes a great shot, goes right through the feet of Cale Hulse. Look at Trefilov went down. He knows it hit him. He's not sure where it is now, but smart goalie, stays down, gets the whistle. Damon Langkow has got some pretty good ice time in this game here tonight. Acquired a couple of weeks ago. Here's a young kid who scored 15 goals 2 years ago, 8 goals last year. And when Vincent Lecavalier showed up in Tampa Bay this year, it pretty much sounded the end for Damon Langkow. But he knows he has a chance to make a very good hockey club. They need some offense from him. He told me this morning he's pressing a little bit. He has got some scoring chances. He hasn't come through the way he would like to yet. But he knows he'll get some more chances yet. And they've used Langkow with a lot of different combinations to see who he gets some chemistry going with.
Out to McGillis, his shot deflected high up on the glass. Fleury coming back to get control. Holds it across now for Jerome McGinley. McGinley will get it back into the Flyer zone. A collision there with McGillis. Now Schaap's trying to make a play with it. Tertishny stays on him. And Jones rolls it across. Delapuka to center ice. Sends it across for Keith Jones. Jones back across for Delapuka. 5 minutes gone by in the third. It's a 1-goal Calgary lead. Here's Cale Hulse with it. And Hulse sends it out to center ice. Off of Richardson. It's picked up by Fleury. Sets it up. McGinley drives a one-timer. It was a bouncing puck. And he shot it much higher than he wanted to. Richardson comes up with it. And Luke Richardson will just send it softly into the Calgary zone. Again, Eric Lindros, mild concussion, sustained late in the second period, will not be back. Carl Dykhouse took a bunch of stitches after he was clipped with a high stick. We're told that he will be back. Here is Weimer now. Centering pass. Intercepted in front. Flyers don't fail to clear. Now it's knocked out of there by Alexander Daig. And Daig getting some ice time now with Brind'Amour and LeClaire. Smith rolls it across. Derek Morris being chased back by Daig. Now it comes to Smith. Plays it with his skate. Goes up the boards with it. Basson on the left wing side. And Basson gets it out to center ice. Ed Ward dumps it back behind Hextall.
Calgary not handling the puck very much right now. They're protecting a one-goal lead, and that can be dangerous. They lost some of their confidence in the second period and their ability to carry the puck. That's fine. You need to dump it into open spaces, but you also have to go and recover it. Otherwise, you end up just sitting back on your heels too much, and that's what it's looking like early stages here of this third day.
Simpson taken hard to the boards. Now Housley laid it off the boards for Castles. Hands it off to Tom Simpson, whose goal is the difference right now. It goes off the skate of Terrien back into the Flyers zone. Desjardins wraps it around. Wilm able to block it. Goes to the corner. Centering pass. Hextall was there to make the stop on Roche. And the Flyers defenseman Desjardins lays it ahead now. And crowd reacting to some physical play behind the puck.
Philadelphia was fortunate there. There was a mix-up in communication there between Terrien and Desjardins. Wilm was all alone in front of the net, but it was too close to Hextall, and Hextall just smothered that play.
Roche drops it back. Fleury chops it deep into the Flyers zone. McGillis collides with Roche as he plays it up the boards, and Langkow able to clear. Gauthier drives it in on Hextall in case he was thinking of going back and trying to cheat to get behind the net to play a puck. Gauthier drops it back. Cale Holtz drives it in from center ice as well. Hextall drops it off there now, and Krasny plays it ahead now, and Richard Park could not control. Langkow puts it deep into the Calgary zone. Holtz hit there by Beaupont, who hasn't seen a lot of ice time tonight. ATM up along the boards to the right of Trepilov. Langkow puts it along the boards. Gauthier there for the Flames. Up the left wing side, held in Richardson. His shot not much on it. Langkow picks it up. Centering pass for Park. Picked off by Johnson. They hands it off now for Fleury. Fleury with some speed to the neutral zone. Puts on the break, hits the late man coming in. Smith with a drive blocked by Terrien. Weimer follows up. That didn't get through. Weimer again behind the net. Looking in front for Fleury, and it was picked off by Park. And Park will make sure as he dumps it down the ice, but it's right at Trepilov, so there's no icing.
Long time between whistles here in favor of the Calgary Flames. Philadelphia looking tired. They had 2 or 3 line changes over the course of this several minutes that we've gone without a face-off. Calgary has used it to full advantage. They're getting their cycling and their ability to dump the puck and go after it, and it's wearing out the Philadelphia Flyers somewhat.
Well, Hextall finally realizes it, and he hangs on. And we mentioned this has been a physical confrontation, and Desjardins knows that full well.
Ordinarily, a Saturn owner reporting over 100,000 miles on his car just isn't that uncommon. But in the first year, that sort of caught our attention, so we decided to keep track of him. He came in for oil changes and tune-ups, but nothing major, until he hit the 300,000-mile mark.
Mr. Bingham, looks like we got a problem here.
Looks good. Got to admit, for a car seat, 300,000's a pretty good run.
Good day, eh? As you can see, me and my brother has a taste for real adventure, eh? Oh no, we lost one! What an idiot! Good cheer! Whoa! Here! No way! You're just trying to slow me down! I got it!
Well, a little bit more concern, perhaps, on the face of the Flames fans. Now, we wanted to get to this a moment ago. We highlight Langkow on the left side, Sillinger and Swoboda. All this started with Gratton being signed. Flyers lost 4 number-1 picks. They got him back, lost Renberg and Dykhouse. And you see the rest of the transactions. And all of that started with the signing of Gratton, the $9 million signing bonus. And what they end up with it at the end of the whole thing was getting Damon Langkow and losing Sillinger and Swoboda. That was the net result of the whole thing, and it cost them the $9 million and whatever the base salary was for Gretton this year for the first couple of months of the season. So it's interesting how that whole thing has turned out.
Well, trades are always a crapshoot, Dave. We see it many times every year. And when you go from a good team to a bad team, you never quite know how players are going to react on either side. And it doesn't necessarily follow that when you go to a good team that your career will get that much better. Sometimes you don't fit in or you don't have the confidence or whatever, and vice versa going to a poor team. So it seemed like Tampa and Philly just decided to unravel things and go back to square one.
And that playoff side of the Philadelphia line gives us a chance to remind you we got a lot of hockey action coming your way. Why not start off 1999 with the New York Rangers and the St. Louis Blues? Wayne Gretzky going back to visit his former team in St. Louis. That'll be 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Then on Sunday, we get back to Sunday night on ESPN's National Hockey Night, one of the great old rivalries in the history of the NHL. But two teams that are struggling right now, the Detroit Red Wings and the Chicago Blackhawks, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN's National Hockey Night, Sunday night.
And we're talking about those changes, and Carl Dykhouse being one of them. We just got word that he's got a broken cheekbone now and will not be back in this game. He certainly had to get sutured up because he was bleeding profusely when he left the ice, but apparently now he's got a broken cheekbone. So he just acquired him. He just got here this afternoon. Bang, he gets hurt.
Now we've been told, too, that Steve Dubinsky for the Calgary Flames with a bruised thigh, and he will not be back. Oh, from center ice! The Flyers have scored! Trefilov was leaning to his left hand. McGillis fired it in from center ice. It did not look to me as if Trefilov had cheated to go behind the net, expecting a dump in. It looked like he fully saw this puck and completely misplayed it.
These are some of the toughest saves to make for the goaltender, and why you're taught not to just try to catch them. You have to try to use your body and get in front. Now, Dan McGillis really wired this shot, but he is so far out. Look where he's going to shoot this puck from. Right at the center red line. Yes, almost right on it. Trefilov just seems to lose it. He certainly misjudges it. It seems to be going flat. It wasn't fluttering, which sometimes will fool the eye. It was a ripping shot. But Trefilov, the manner in which he tried to save it was not correct, and he paid a very high price for it.
Well, we showed you what happened in the first meeting between these two clubs when one team had a 2-goal lead. It ended 3-3, and we are there right now with still half a period to go. And how will Trefilov react? He may be tested right here as Brind'Amour on the steal. Looking in front for Dega. A penalty coming here against the Calgary Flames, and it may be for the chop, and it's going to be a slashing penalty.
Looks like Bob Basson might be the player to go to the penalty box. He's got a broken stick, and I think we're going to see a slashing call here, in which case Basson must have got his money's worth because his stick is in two pieces right now. But a very bad time for a penalty for the Calgary Flames, with the Flyers having scored that long shot goal by McGillis to get themselves tied in this hockey game. We'll watch in front of the net. 28 White will end up with the penalty. They'll come in from the left, and oh yeah, he got his money's worth all right. That was a good two-handed chop from Bobby Basson. And so the Philadelphia Flyers, who now certainly have momentum on that goal by McGillis on the power play here, and it's Trefilov and the Calgary Flames who are going to have to recover themselves now. And Trefilov in particular. Trefilov did not do very well on that last long shot. Certainly you're not supposed to, in the National Hockey League, let a goal in from the red line. It certainly does happen. He has played in the National Hockey League before. He's going to have to fall back on his experience. Dan McGillis just blew that one by him from the center red line.
Third of the year for McGillis. Brind'Amour got the only assist at 9:30, and a power play for the Flyers, and a chance to take the lead, and a shot up there by Trefilov on a one-timer by Keith Jones.
I don't remember seeing so many cross-ice passes on a power play be so effective. Usually teams will cut that off. Philadelphia has been very successful on those diagonal passes like they just were there.
Holtz now for the Flames, tries to clear. Desjardins holds it in. Langkow into the glass, able to make the play along the boards. Richard Park trying to get there for the Flyers, digs it out of there. Cale Holtz trying to tie it up for the Flames. Puck comes free. It's recovered by Gauthier, and he clears it down the ice right at Hextall.
Well, Calgary really needs a good kill here, obviously, to keep themselves in this game at a tie. But second of all, just to recover the composure. Sometimes some just good, hard, basic, solid penalty-killing work will do that for you. But we pointed out that this has been the Achilles heel of this Calgary Flames team all year long, killing penalties, particularly here at home. They have not done a good job.
Desjardins lugs it up down to center ice. He'll drive it behind Trepalov. Along the boards, Flames get there first. Steve Smith has time to wind up and drive it out of the zone. Desjardins racing down after it. Hextall is out of the net. Ooh, a little mix up there. Hextall and Desjardins, but the Flyer defenseman will recover.
That was creative. I'm not sure they'd want to repeat that, but it worked.
Carrion drives it along the boards, back into the Calgary zone. Good hustle by Tertischny to get over there. Backed up by Zelapuka, but he couldn't hold it in. Here's Leclaire. Plays it off the boards. Now Leclaire working against Simpson. Brindamore helps out. Brindamore drops it back to the line. Tertischny winds up, drives a shot. Not sure if that got through to Trepalov, but it deflects to the boards, and the Flames able to clear.
John Leclaire with a great shift there. An excellent job of dumping the puck to an opening, going and getting it himself, and then sustaining the play down low. He was the one, in fact, that ended up blocking that shot. He was trying to deflect it, went off his foot and into the corner.
Gauthier fans on the attempted clear. Masson could not get it out of there. It is held in by the Flyers. Here's Colin Forbes with it now. Moves away from the forecheck. Then he's hit by Weimer, who came in after Holtz had missed the check. Gauthier able to come up with it and banks it out to center ice.
A tough 7.5 minutes coming up here for both teams, but for the Flyers, they're not nearly as tired now at 3-3 as they were at 3-2 a few minutes ago.
Bureau fans on the shot as Gauthier went down for the block anyway, and a big collision. Basson with a hit on Mark Bureau. Dubras plays it along the boards. Flames will get to it. Here is Gauthier. Sends it out center ice for Ward. Hands it off for Basson, unable to control the pass. Under 7 minutes left in regulation. 3-3 our score. A bizarre turn of events, a shorthanded goal by Dubras, and a shot from outside the red line by McGillis. Here's Housley with it now. Outlet pass for Nylander. Works it across Castles, deflects it for Bure. Valerie Bure with a shot, and Hextall just got a piece of that, as that had some pace on it.
And Calgary offside wingers were all going to the net. Castles was going for a rebound and very nearly got his stick on it. Calgary has done that consistently well in this game. Go to the net without the puck.
Richard Park with a good read and a steal in the neutral zone. Now Volkot gets to it. Park rolls it along the boards. Brindamore trying to protect the puck. He comes back to the line. McGillis holds it in. McGillis carries in. Now sends it to the corner. Brindamore has it there. A little head and shoulder fake. Brindamore still has it. Snaps the shot. Trepalov to save. That one appeared to fool him a bit as well.
They almost caught him moving there. He was moving to the middle of the ice. He was opening up and then just closed those legs in time.
Well, they won't remember the great saves when you're a goaltender. They usually remember the bad goals you give up. We'll see if Trepalov can recover in the last 5:49.
Are you concerned about losing more hair? Do you wonder how much further it will go? Do you wish you could do something about it? Well, there's a pill for men with certain types of hair loss. It's called Propecia. In clinical studies, the vast majority of men, 83%, maintain their current hair count, and most, 66%, regrew some hair. Take it daily and you could see results in as little as 3 months. Propecia is for men only. A small number of men experience certain sexual side effects. Each occurred in less than 2% of men. Women who are or may potentially be pregnant must not use it or handle broken tablets because of the risk of a specific kind of birth defect. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist and read the consumer information they can provide. For a free brochure on Propecia, call toll-free 1-888-94-MERC. It will give you more facts and show you clinical before and after photos. You can also receive a list of doctors in your area. Propecia, helping make hair loss history.
I said on that long shot goal that Andrei Trefilov didn't play it correctly, but actually he wasn't too bad, but he had some bad luck. Look at the trajectory of the puck. It was going wide. He put it in. It hit the top edge of the glove, and there's a big cuff part there. He did misjudge the catch. It would have gone wide if he had just left it alone. I thought he just had carelessly played it where he should have got his body over. Well, the puck was wide. He was in his net and scored on himself in a way.
Fleury from outside the blue line tries Hextall, who makes the pad save. Derek Morris follows up, and Hextall makes the stop as Iginla is thrown to the ice. Well, we asked you at the top of the program to give us your vote for who you felt was the front runner for the National Hockey League's Most Valuable Player Award, the Hart Trophy. And we're not totally surprised by this. Dominik Hasek, who's won the last two. Look at that, 44%, a little better than that actually. Lindros nearly a third. Tkachuk and Korea following up. And we thank the better than 8,000 that participated in our poll. 3-3 our score, 5.5 remaining here in regulation. How much gas in the tank for the Philadelphia Flyers? Playing their third game in 4 nights. Not getting here to Calgary until after 5 o'clock in the morning. Obviously did not come down to skate this morning, but here's a turnover. A steal by Leclerc, sets it up, and Brind'Amour shot was deflected just wide. Roger Nielsen going with Brind'Amour, Leclerc, and Jones.
Calgary fortunate there. They were running around. 2 or 3 players were already leaving the zone. Philadelphia had a good scoring chance.
Smith lobs it to the net. It's off a skate in front, but Zubras finds it before any Calgary player can. Colin Forbes now. Good job by Zubras to stay on side on the far side. Zubras taken to the board. Now Valerie Bure tries to clear. Flyers got in the way of that. Derek Morris gets it to Bure, and he'll start it back up the ice. Has some speed going wide. Snaps the shot. Hextall left hand save. This puck up to Bure. Tries to stuff it in. Hextall holds his ground. Bure again. Along the board. Now McGillis and Rose tie each other up long enough. And Van Massenhoven blows the whistle. 4 minutes, 17 seconds to go. Who will have something extra in the tank to break the deadlock?
Hey, we're the McKenzie brothers, and we're here to stop a heinous crime. Yeah, they're sending Molson Canadians south of the border instead of our house where it belongs.
But we got a plan, eh?
Step out of the truck, please, sir. We offer a complimentary breakfast and free donuts, eh? How about a little deodorant for those long, stinky rides? Au revoir, eh?
Guys, put it in low, eh?
What do you think I'm doing? I'm gunning it.
Like winter conditions.
Ordinarily, a Saturn owner reporting over 100,000 miles on his car just isn't that uncommon. But in the first year, that sort of caught our attention, so we decided to keep track of him. He came in for oil changes and tune-ups, but nothing major, until he hit the 300,000 mile mark.
Mr. Bingham, looks like we got a problem here. Looks good.
Got to admit, for a car seat, 300,000's a pretty good run.
There's a look at Jarome Iginla, who's been playing mostly wing tonight and will actually be credited with a goal here tonight. The one that was originally given to Simpson will now be given to Iginla. He's one of 7 center icemen, actually, the Calgary Flames have had. And they just rotate them around, obviously, because you can't have 7 centers. Iginla has played center most of the time on wing here tonight, but when it comes to draws, he is one of the 3 guys that they will go to on any given night. But you know who, with all 7 centers, I asked Brian Sutter who their #1 draw man was? It's Theo Fleury. He's a winger, not even a centerman, but he's taken a lot of draws in his time. So it kind of shows maybe a weakness that Calgary has. And certainly, they're trying to straighten out their center ice position. They need some guys to step forward, Dave, and become good, consistent producers. Even Jason Weimer, whom they acquired from Tampa, played mostly wing there, but he is a centerman as well. So they're trying to convert Weimer and Iginla as much as possible, get them back at center, and see if that'll work.
Yeah, you're right. They did change that goal. Iginla's 14th of the year, so already with 1 more goal. Jarome Iginla than he had last year when he scored 13, coming off a 20-goal year as a rookie, former #1 pick by the Dallas Stars. Here is a one-timer by Desjardins that's deflected up over top of the net. Delapukin gets to it. Well, that puck definitely hit the stick of Richard Clark, but it may have deflected off of Iginla before it went into the net. That's obviously what they have ruled. Now here is Lankow clearing it out to center ice. Damon Lankow roughed up there by Weimer. Just over 3 minutes left in regulation time. That pass out of the reach of Benson. It's going to be an icing call on the touch up here by Desjardins.
Chris Therien has played an awful lot with Desjardins, which is their normal pairing, and they usually play against the top lines on the opposition team. They played a fair amount against Theo Fleury tonight, although I don't think Roger Nielsen has done a lot of matching up in this game.
Yeah.
These guys see an awful lot of ice time. Therien's a big, strong workhorse. He can play against the quick guys as well, too. He's smart and experienced enough that he knows if he's going to give up foot speed to a guy like Bure or Fleury, that he's going to play it smart and be in the right position to make up for that lack of foot speed.
Trefilov steers this puck aside. Derek Morris will get to it for the Flames. And Therrien is backed up to center ice. 6'5", 235 pounds for Therrien from Ottawa, the Canadian capital. Now here's Basson battling with Keith Jones. Basson will hustle over there. Basson missed a lot of the start of the season with a knee injury and did not play the last game because of a hand injury. But back in the lineup, favorite kind of player for Brian Sutter, number 28 in white. Comes down to Brind'Amour. Smart play back to the line. Desjardins to the net. Trefilov again. Looks like he's fighting the puck on almost every long shot.
I agree. That one's got him shaking a little bit. I think that goal that he gave up to McGillis in the red line.
Here is Leclaire. Centering pass. Oh, and Trefilov. Oh, yeah. I guess he is shaken up. No goal station. What a save. Well, he has shown tonight that he can make the spectacular stop. It's the routine ones that seem to be giving him more trouble.
Shaking up and shaking all over on that one. Man, oh man, he covered the whole net. His legs and arms were flailing all over the place. A little Dominic Hasek style there. The stick was gone. Read the play. Good position.
Wow.
In square of the net. A little bit of luck. Quick reactions. All of those together. The arm goes flying. The legs up in the air. Nobody knows where the puck is. Oh, you gotta love it. There he's tracking the puck. It'll come out front. He misses the attempted poke check. Oh, man. Yeah, there's a little Dominic. Look how far that stick ends up away. And he ends up on his back, almost a little snow angel. Interesting night for Mr. Trefilov, don't you think?
Highlights and lowlights. Some banging shot that hit the side of the net off the stick of Forbes. Now Iginla hands it back to Gauthier with just over 2 minutes left in regulation.
And Calgary, I think, has cleaned up their play inside their own zone again, Dave. They're playing more like they did in the first period, not allowing Philadelphia to get that good cycling going. Probably part of that, too, is fatigue by Philadelphia. Second game in 2 nights and all the bad travel problems. I think they're too tired to go with the cycling down low as well, and they're not getting in there as effectively.
Iginla just missed shots with that centering pass. Here comes Iginla again. McGillis going to try to tie him up. Now Zupas comes over for the Flyers up the boards with it. And it's cleared out to center ice by Forbes. It's over a minute and a half left now as both teams looking to make changes. Zupas from center ice will just make sure that he gets it deep. Housley back to play it. Makes a quick move to guard away from Blankow. Housley, full head of steam to center ice. Drives one right in on Hextall. Therrien scoops up the rebound. Got it to the line. It goes off of Simpson. And Beaupont pushes it ahead. Here's Beaupont and Delapukin. Delapukin now hangs on. Tried to center one off a stick. And over top of the net. Castles rolls it back down for Housley. Delapukin is going to try to get after him. Therrien knocks it down with a glove.
There's 1 minute remaining.
Less than a minute remaining now in regulation time. Simpson rolls it out to center ice.
When Philadelphia is in good control of the puck in the Calgary zone, the team is starting to look a little bit like Trefilov. They're kind of flailing all over the place, too, and looking like they're unsure of how they're going to pull off the defensive play they need to make.
Not many guys can make a play 1-on-3, but Leclaire kept it alive, and now Brind'Amour takes over. Brind'Amour out of the corner with it, protects the puck, throws it off the boards. Keith Jones drives the shot, save, loose puck, top of the crease. Leclaire hit the goal post, and Trefilov covers up. Oh, what a sequence.
Textbook stuff by John Leclaire, who's had some terrific shifts, as he always does, and boy, does he look tired. John Leclaire very slow to get up, as is Trefilov. Both were extended fully, but Leclaire just textbook stuff in front of the net. Getting body position, that's what it's all about. While Brind'Amour and everybody is doing their stuff, there's Leclaire timing it so that he gets his body in between the puck and the net, and the defender, in this case it was Morris, I believe he was working against. Yes, where's Leclaire? Right outside the crease. And a good job by Morris to recover, too. Wow. What do you have to get there? The stick. He tied up John Leclaire's stick. If you don't have the stick, you don't have anything. Morris recovered extremely well and probably saved the game right there.
28.8 seconds remaining here in regulation. I thought we might see a timeout, but neither coach is going to go that route. Thought the Flyers might want to try to get that big line back out there again. Euro wins the draw, though, cleanly back to Desjardins. Desjardins backhander, blocked in front. Picked up by Colin Ford, but now slapped away by Cale Hult. Basson with it. Here's Curry. Now Basson. Basson plays it on the far side for Wilm. Wilm's pass intercepted by Zupas. 9 seconds left. Will there be time? Hands it off for Ford. Ford right up the middle with a chance that was flapped in front. And time is going to run out in regulation. And so for the second time, and these two teams from the opposite conferences play only twice, they will go to overtime again, tied at 3. Don't go away. We've had a lot of strange goals go in. There could be another one.
Ordinarily, a Saturn owner reporting over 100,000 miles on his car just isn't that uncommon. But in the first year, that sort of caught our attention, so we decided to keep track of him. He came in for oil changes and tune-ups, but nothing major, until he hit the 300,000 mile mark.
Mr. Bingham, looks like we got a problem here.
Looks good. Got to admit, for a car seat, 300,000's a pretty good run.
It has the power to excite you. It has the power to move you. It has the power to take you places you never knew existed. It is, of course, your Visa card, with the power to get you a seat to Michael Tilson Thomas and the San Francisco Symphony at Davies Symphony Hall. So bring your Visa card, because you can't get in using American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
We're going all the way. Nothing's stopping us. It's high ground by nightfall.
There is a line between courage and madness, between triumph and despair, between heaven and hell.
What difference do you think you can make, one single man, in all this madness?
The Thin Red Line, rated R. Limited engagements now playing. Opens everywhere January 15th.
Well, for the second time this season, the Flyers and Flames tied at 3 after regulation, and just like the first meeting, it was the home team with a 2-goal advantage going into the third, unable to hold on to it. Flyers have a win, a loss, and 9 draws in overtime so far this year. The Flames 1-0-3.
That's Keith Jones. He's the one who scored the overtime goal this year for the Flyers versus Florida. And Andrew Castles is the man who has scored the 1 overtime goal for the Flames win. Here's another look at the tying goal from center ice. Dan McGillis sends in a depth charge from well out, and it just fooled Trefloff. It was actually off the target. It went off the heel of his glove, changed trajectory, and went in behind him. So Trefloff has had really a terrific, spectacular game. He's been all over the place. Boy, that one kind of hurt.
No, Hextall has been his usual aggressive self. Flyers have an interesting streak going, Brian. The last 15 games they have played against the Western Conference, 11 wins and 4 ties. They have not lost against a team from the West since February 7th of '98 when they lost to the Avalanche.
Wow.
Action teams of high school.
January 15th.
Well, for the second time this season, the Flyers and Flames tied at 3 after regulation, and just like the first meeting, it was the home team with a 2-goal advantage going into the third, unable to hold on to it. Flyers have a win, a loss, and 9 draws in overtime so far this year. The Flames 1-0-3.
That's Keith Jones. He's the one who scored the overtime goal this year for the Flyers versus Florida. And Andrew Castles is the man who has scored the 1 overtime goal for the Flames win. Here's another look at the tying goal from center ice. Dan McGillis sends in a depth charge from well out, and it just fooled Trefloff. It was actually off the target. It went off the heel of his glove, changed trajectory, and went in behind him. So Trefloff has had really a terrific, spectacular game. He's been all over the place. Boy, that one kind of hurt.
No, Hextall has been his usual aggressive self. Flyers have an interesting streak going, Brian. The last 15 games they have played against the Western Conference, 11 wins and 4 ties. They have not lost against a team from the West since February 7th of '98 when they lost to the Avalanche.
Wow.
Here is Zubris across the line. It's picked up, though, by Simpson. Plays it off the board, but not at a very good angle. Zubris able to get a stick on it again. Here's Iginla with it. He tries to lift it out of there. It's off the glove of Housley. And now Simpson clears the zone as Roger Nielsen gets his big line out there. Iginla trying to work his way in on Desjardins. It's knocked away from him and cleared out to center ice. Steve Smith has it there. Lifts it back into the Flyers zone.
line changes could be really critical here in this overtime, especially for Philadelphia being tired.
Well, a full New Year's Day of college football on ABC Sports kicks off with the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl. The Michigan Wolverines, winners of 9 of their last 10 games, take on the Arkansas Razorbacks, who came within 1 minute of the SEC championship game. Action gets underway at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC Sports.
A lot of tired faces on that Philadelphia Flyers bench, but you don't want to give up a hard-fought point when they had to come from 2 goals down. They've tied this game up at 3. They had it happen to them when they played against these Calgary Flames last time around. They have it in reverse order. Philly had a 2-goal lead and gave it up to Calgary, so they'd like to turn the table definitely here tonight.
Rink wide pass for Ward. Ward number 42. Angled to the board by Richardson. Now Jason Weaver pinned to the glass there by McGillis. Flyers look to come out with it. They'll dump it out to center ice. You know, the Flyers looking for a lot of things in this season, and one of the things they were looking for was scoring from the defense. I don't think they expect to score from center ice, but
yeah.
Here's Brindamore. Jones with a one-timer save. Big rebound out between the circles. Comes to the line. Desjardins has it. Eric Desjardins, top of the circle. Throws it toward the net. Leclerc just missed on the redirect. Had his stick chopped out of his hands by Steve Smith. Valerie Bure now hands it off to the veteran Calgary defenseman. Smith now goes to Castles. Castles, nice pass across for Bure. Bure's long shot steered aside by Hextall. Mark Wilm could not make a play on it. And back comes Zelapukin now. Zelapukin across the line, uses the pick. Gets it down, he scores! Zelapukin used a teammate as a screen, and he beats Trefilov. In overtime, the Flyers unbeaten now in their last 9.
Great shot by Zelapukin, and it shocks everybody, I think, on both teams. It shocked me, too. We just didn't expect this to actually end up as a goal. There's speed on the rush. Zelapukin just used a good snapshot, and it was a high shot. Those ones normally don't have as much velocity, but Valery Zelapukin got a lot on that one, and I think that it took a second or two for Trefilov to pick up the trajectory, or maybe he never did. He was moving from his left to his right, and it fooled him high over that left shoulder. And the Philadelphia Flyers, with a huge win on the road, missing 2 of their guys due to injury, and they finish it off. Here's Zelapukin coming across. There was certainly traffic there. You can see he leaned into that one. But look at Trefilov. He's not even quite sure where the puck is, even when it's coming back out of the twine. He was fooled completely. Yep. There's Zelapukin coming across. Where's Trefilov? Boy, it looks like he thought maybe it was going to go right over the net. He had the glove up high, just never seemed to get a piece of it at all. But just a huge victory here for Philly.
Well, our final score again in overtime on the goal by Zelapukin. The Flyers 4 and the Calgary Flames 3. Join us on the news tomorrow night as Wayne Gretzky and the Rangers take on Nikolai Khabibulin and the Red Hot Coyotes at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Tonight's game has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. I'm Dave Trader for Brian Engblom and the rest of our crew. We'll come back here and wrap things up from the Canadian Airlines Saddle Dome. But NHL Tonight will be coming up next with John Buccigross and Barry Melrose. 4-3, our final score.
Can you believe the price of popcorn?
It's a crime against humanity.
Everything costs an arm and a leg.
Not everything. You can get all your long-distance calls for under $1.
He's talking about 10, 10, 220. Dial it and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents.
Behold the golden child.
Talk over 20 minutes, then what?
Yeah, then what?
It's just 10 cents for each extra minute.
That's cheap. How is it possible? How does popcorn pop? Who cares?
Yeah, just dial 10, 10, 220 and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents.
You're stuck to the floor, aren't you?
The battle for world hockey dominance continues as North America takes on the world in the 1999 NHL All-Star Game.
Gretzky and Messier, he scored!
Make sure your favorite player gets there. Pick up your Wendy's NHL All-Star Vote 99 official ballot at the arena or vote online at yahoo.com. For All-Star updates, visit NHL.com. You could win a 1999 Dodge Durango or Intrepid and other great prizes. Vote now, vote often, so your favorite player's on the ice in Tampa.
When you talk to your kids about drugs, it may seem that nothing is getting through. Don't believe it. Keep talking. Talk, listen, stay involved.
Well, on a night when the Flyers lost Eric Lindros to a mild concussion, you talked about it, Brian. They want scoring from other people. They score 4 goals. Leclerc and Lindros don't figure in the scoring.
Yeah, this was a big game for them in that respect. This is the winning goal by Zelepukin as he just wired one on the wrist shot, and a very jubilant Philadelphia Flyers hockey team, and well, they should be. A come from behind like this on the road is terrific.
Damon Lankow was the guy that set the pick, and we've got our all-star pair back in our NHL Tonight studios. John and Barry, guys.
Thank you, guys. Coming up on the NHL tonight, the Phoenix Coyotes are howling mad after losing 2 of their superstars to injury. We have the video. The Avs try to keep it going while Patrick Roy heals at home. Also, an update on the World All-Star starters. We'll have the latest results, and we'll tell you who will be coaching the NHL tonight, right here, right now.
I love those new glasses.
Welcome to the show. John Butchergross, Barry Melrose, who will be coaching one of the legend teams on All-Star Weekend, but you don't know which team.
I don't know which team, I don't know which players, but that doesn't really matter when you're a good coach.
We'll find out in the coming days.
Don't get rid of that look too quick. That was a good look for you.
All right. The Colorado Avalanche are in Vancouver to play the Canucks, but Patrick Roy is not. Roy remains in Colorado, where he is trying to get his sprained knee better. He's not expected back until January the 4th when the Avs host Montreal. So it is Craig Billington in net for Colorado. He beat the Flames Sunday night, just Colorado's second win in 8 tries. They've been struggling, so have the Canucks. Plenty of fights, and Barry, watch this Scott Parker right hand, boom!
Well, Parker wants to be the next NHL undisputed heavyweight, and he's well on his way. He outpointed Brashear right here. A couple middleweights going at it, Deadmarsh and the Islander player McCabe, ex-Islander player McCabe, and I got to give that to Deadmarsh. So 2 up for the Avalanche, and right here another super heavyweight belt. Belak and McAllister. These guys played junior together in Saskatoon. So penalty box shot. That's a standard penalty box shot after a lot of fights.
Power play. Claude Lemieux is on the point for Colorado. This is a pass to Peter Forsberg. Forsberg's 10th Avalanche lead 1-0. Same score, Vancouver power play. Harry York, genuflexion scores. We're tied at 1. That's York's 4th. He's been playing well for Vancouver because of injuries. He's on the first line now. Second period, 1-1. Scatcherd, great play by Eric Messier. 2 Messiers in this game, Barry, and another fight.
All right, here we got Russell going right here with Staios from Vancouver. This was a very hotly contested game. A lot of fights, a lot of physical play. Russell ends up in the bottom, but this was a good scrap. All of them were.
Still 1-1, off wing knee. Valerie Kamensky, nothing but net. 2-1, Colorado takes the lead as Colorado has won their last 2 road games. They lead this one 2-1. Vancouver 3-1-1 in their last 5 at home. They've been horrible on the road. How about this Peter Forsberg stat? Colorado is 24-0-7 when he scores a goal for the team. 5 fighting majors, 5 misconducts in the first period alone. Game 2 since the Jacques Lemaire hiring. Watch this. Montreal, they're up 1-0. Delayed penalty on the Canadiens. Of course, Edmonton pulls their goalie. Yanni Niedema passes back to where he thinks there's someone else. There's not. Give Mark Recchi the goal. They put it in their own net. 2-0 Montreal. Now it's 2-1 Montreal. Joseph Baranek is going to beat Jeff Hackett. 9th of the year for Baranek. Edmonton back in it. Second period, Montreal 4-2, and Mark Recchi, driver 8, take a break. He earns that one, and Montreal wins 5-2. Recchi 2 goals, a helper. Montreal's 4th straight win in Edmonton. Just Montreal's 3rd road win of the season. Edmonton now 2-8-2 in their last 12. They continue to flounder as they're 0-4 on the power play in this one. 1 for 41 on the power play in the last 9 games. So first goal for Recchi Berry in 19 games. Koivu and Danfoss also have not been playing well. Jacques Lemaire is now in the fold. Can anybody turn around the situation in Montreal?
Well, it depends how many times they can play Edmonton. This Edmonton team, I don't know what's happened to them. They were playing so well at the start of the year. We're one of the best teams in the NHL, and they've fallen off the face of the earth. Montreal, meanwhile, has got 2 wins in a row now. Recchi's starting to score. This team scored a lot of goals last year. They're basically the same lineup. Koivu was a great player. Danfus a great player. They've got some talent up front. They got some good defensemen that can move the puck, and they're solid net. So this team could turn it around. I don't know if they're good enough to climb back into the standings. I got to think something's going to happen in Montreal, either a trade or something else. Montreal doesn't stand for being out of the playoffs anytime during a season, much less at this time. So I think something will happen in Montreal, a shake-up. Lemaire was a good hiring. He gives them instant stability, instant respect. He likes that job. He had that job before with Montreal before he went to New Jersey. So Montreal's starting to do some things, but I got to think they're going to shake something up there.
Brian Savage still out. Scott Thornton as well. They've been ravaged by injuries, and I don't think Jacques Lemaire wants to go behind the bench.
No, he doesn't. He's smart. Stay where you are, Jacques. You don't want to go behind that bench.
Doesn't want that pressure in that city. Well, the Phoenix Coyotes are coming down to earth. 3-4-1 in their last 8, and for the next week or so, they could come crashing down to the planet. Their entire first line of Tkachuk, Roenick, and Drake, the special K line, is out for a while. We begin with Tkachuk, who has a broken rib, suffered in Monday's game to the Kings. This Matthias Nordstrom cross-check is the reason why he's supposed to be out 3 weeks. Jeremy Roenick, hurt in the same game. He suffered a concussion after this seemingly harmless check from Doug Barger. Roenick will sit out at least a week. And Dallas Drake, retaliating on that hit, picked up a 4-game suspension, which puts him out of action for 9 more days because of that charge on Doug Barger. Well, with their power play at 12.1%, the Carolina Hurricanes have looked to 37-year-old Paul Coffey for a wake-up call. They acquire him for Nelson Emerson. In the last 124 games he has played in the league, Coffey has scored 11 goals, just 2 on the power play. He makes $2.5 million, Emerson $1.3 million, so some economics also involved. Of course, you cannot dispute his greatness. Among all players, Paul Coffey, 5th all-time in assists per game. He is 6 assists away from becoming the 2nd player with 1,200 career helpers. With 1,477 career points, Coffey trails Mario Lemieux for 6th all-time. I am a rock, I am an islander. New York in Florida, taking on the worst team in the league, the Tampa Bay Lightning. And can Jacques Lemaire save the Canadiens? Al Morganti reports on that nugget in his corner. A report that is coming up after these.
No, I never intended to be a sexy man. Never really wanted to sort of get into the point of pushing that particular aspect of myself, because I thought of myself as a serious musician and I didn't want to be a stripper. But then in the end, I turned out to be one. Just another girl on the runway.
Good day, Bob and Doug McKenzie in the Great White North. We was doing some extreme skiing, eh?
Yeah, we got extremely tired, so we decided to call it a day.
2 days, eh?
Now I'm kind of extremely parched.
Hey, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Hey, it's Hosehead.
Rescued by Molson Ice on a mountainside.
Molson Ice, an adventure in every beer.
Geez, I can't feel my extremities, eh? Oh, well, let's suck foam.
Izzy, this cold. I'm so stuffed up. Feels like I'm underwater, too. The sneezing and coughing can last all night. My eyes won't shut either. I need NyQuil for relief so I can rest. Because I have plans in the morning. What? I can't say.
With NyQuil, he gets relief, so he'll sleep and wake up to a good morning.
Don't look.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever, so you can rest and have a good morning medicine.
It knows 2 speeds. Stop and go. It just beat a series of the toughest stop-and-go driving tests in the world, and it's brand new. Go ahead. Guess. You have 4.3 seconds. Introducing Pennzoil with new Pure Base. Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
NHL Tonight is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save.
The Avalanche are 7-1-0 this season when leading after 2. That's the situation in Vancouver, a place they play very well, 8-1-1 in their last 10. Monday, a busy trading day in the NHL. Peter Svoboda goes from Philly to Tampa in exchange for Carl Dykhouse, which means the Flyers get everything back from the Chris Gratton acquisition except the $9 million. they gave to Chris Gratton. And Enrico Ciccone goes to Washington from Tampa Bay for future considerations. More stuff. Andrei Trefilov goes from Chicago to Calgary. We'll have his Calgary debut coming up in the show. Andy Moog has been named the Atlanta Thrasher goaltending consultant, and Boston recalls not the Cam they wanted to ultimately, but Cam Mann comes from Providence to try to give the Bruins some scoring punch. If the Colorado Avalanche are not going to sign Sandis Ozolinsh, they owe it to the player, their fans, and the fans of good players to trade him. Every team would love to have the offensive defenseman, but you have to look at the teams with money and most likely Eastern Conference teams. That combination would seem to fit the defenseman-deprived Flyers to a T, who have Richardson and Zubris and Alexander Daig to dangle. The trade deadline March 23rd. For more NHL news, here's Al Morganti. The New York Rangers are in the midst of a 4-game road trip which could determine their chances at long-term success this season. And one of their keys to that success is the play of their other center, Peter Nedved. Nedved began the trip with 2 goals and 2 assists in a big win at Carolina against the Hurricanes. What Nedved is supposed to do is take some of the pressure off Wayne Gretzky's line to provide all the offense. The biggest question about Nedved was how his 1.5-year sabbatical because of a contract squabble would affect his play. Nedved's contract with the Rangers calls for up to $18.5 million over 5 years, but all they really care about right now is his play this season. Nedved started out strong, but as many expected, he struggled because of that long layoff. But the game against Carolina could have been a breakthrough as the Rangers head for Phoenix, Colorado, and St. Louis. Nedved's presence doesn't mean the Rangers are out of the bidding for Vancouver's Pavel Bure. What it does mean, if they don't get Bure, their season won't be down the drain. The Florida Panthers finally stuck their head over the .500 level, but they're looking to make some changes. One of those changes, well, they're taking a look at New York Islanders defenseman Scott Lachance. Lachance was benched for a couple of games, then suddenly in the lineup against Florida. Could have been a case of showcasing Lachance for the Panthers. In the meantime, in Florida, the bigger worry may be veteran defenseman Ed Jovanovski. He continues to make rookie mistakes. The problem here, he didn't make those mistakes when he was a rookie, but has made plenty of them since. In the meantime, the New York Islanders have an ace in the hole that's not even in their lineup if they want to make a big trade. The goaltender for Team Canada at the World Junior Championship, kid named Roberto Luongo, a shutout in his first game, beats Finland in his second game. He'll be the guy a lot of teams looking for to make a big trade with the Islanders. If the Montreal Canadiens had wanted to pour gasoline on a season already engulfed in flames, they couldn't have done a better job than what they did this past week when they hired Jacques Lemaire as an assistant to general manager Ray Jean-Houle. The media and fans already screaming that Lemaire probably should be the GM, not the assistant, and that's going to continue all season. If Lemaire does get that job by the end of the season, and that's a good bet, you can also bet on the fact that he'll be looking for a goaltender, and he'll be looking toward Toronto at Felix Potvin. The Tampa Bay Lightning have had enough crisis this season to last most teams a decade. Well, they're just another one down there in Tampa. This time, Coach Jacques Demers, also the general manager, in an argument with Stéphane Richer, their veteran, who didn't want to play because of a sore left ankle. Turns out Richer admits he could play in some pain. They made up, but he says here, Richer on the trade block, and if anybody takes him, he'll be out of Tampa real fast. In the corner, I'm Al Morganti. We have an NHL All-Star Game voting update. He dominates on the ice. How is he doing in the voting booth? And who's crazier than Nicolas Cage in Raising Arizona? Maybe the fans of Phoenix. We profile them on the NHL Tonight coming up.
Oh, no. Not an offer for another credit card.
We've never gotten one like this.
What is it, made of gold?
Better. This one's a First USA Platinum Visa card.
Uh-huh, at a platinum price. I mean, how much are they talking about? $300, $400 a year just for the privilege?
It's free. No annual fee.
What kind of interest?
Fixed introductory rate is 3.9% APR. Oh, that's the lowest I remember seeing. Maybe we should switch.
To apply for your First USA Platinum Visa card, call this number now. You don't have to be wealthy, just responsible. Having one is a credit to the way you manage your finances, so don't wait. Apply by phone today. Save now and save when the rate goes to a still low fixed 12.99% APR.
Imagine us with a First USA Platinum Visa card. We deserve it.
They're giving us credit for our good credit.
How about some credit for my good idea?
Alex, click on this and check out what's going to be sitting in my living room once I win the ESPN Big Monday Sweepstakes presented by Bud Light.
Brad, who you kidding? We both know I've got the 411 on college hoops. That bad boy's going to be sitting in my living room.
Just plan to watch the Big Monday games with the man and bring your notebook because you're going to get schooled.
Bring it on.
The ESPN Big Monday Sweepstakes presented by Bud Light. Just log on to ESPN.com. Predict who will win each of the Big Monday college hoops games and you could win big. Enter now.
He's the best goalie in the world, and he has the most votes for the World All-Star Team. Hasek, 19-5-5, 1.72 goals against, 7 shutouts. We can go on and on and on. The other leaders by position, Fedorov a slight lead over Forsberg. Jágr and Solani have commanding leads. They appear to be a lock. Looks like a Red Wing pair on the blue line for Lidstrom and Krupp. And Barry, as far as coaching, they're rough around the edges, aren't they?
Well, I'm so glad Lindy Ruff was coaching the European team because Lindy played like that. He was a very finesse player, moved the puck very well, very quick on his feet. Lindy Ruff was a fighter and a tough guy. Ken Hitchcock's coaching the North American team, and this is his 3rd straight year. So 2 coaches have done a great job this year.
Islanders and Lightning. There are 6 teams in the NHL in last place. Here are 2 of them. Picking up Marcel Cousineau, his first NHL game this year for the Islanders. 22nd goalie ever to suit it up. He stops David Wilkie, former Acadian first-round pick. Stephane Richer, a former Acadian second-round pick. And Rob Zamner, a former Ranger third-round pick. Easy as 1, 2, 3. The Yeller goalie, Bill Ranford. No win since October the 23rd. Trevor Linden had 6 shots. He led all players, both of those saved. Ziggy had 5 chances. Billy closes the 5-hole, had the stick on the ice to stop.
Puck night.
Ring, ding, or puck, you make the call. Vincent Lecavalier surfing the net. What a sweet goal, his 6th.com. 1-0 means. Claude Lapointe, look out, boom. It's Mike McBain, the young 21-year-old defenseman. He gets a 5-minute major here, Barry.
Turning point in the game, 1-0 at the time. The Islanders had control of it. I think what happened, McBain got cut. But again, Lapointe leaves his feet. Anytime you leave your feet and jump, you're going to get a penalty. And with the injury to McBain, I think that created the 5-minute major penalty. Turning point in the game, as I said, because John, take it away.
Ensuing power play, Darcy Tucker, the great block on the Linden Clear. Over to Corey Cross, and McCarthy tips it in. 2-0 Ning.
Oh, Billy.
No shutout since December 19th of 96. Robert Reichel, he tried to go 5-hole. Billy quick to the ice on this night. Selovanov. Phil Esposito's son-in-law makes it 3-0 Tampa, his 5th of the year. Billy Ranford. The Islanders 0-16-1 coming in when the other team scores first, making it 0-15-1, so now they're 0-16-1 when the other team scores first. Tampa breaks a 9-game home losing streak. 15th career shutout for Ranford. Tampa, remember, they were 6-6-2 after 14 games. Since then, 3-17-1. Very tough year for Bill Ranford. He's been accused of faking an injury. Of course, he won the Conn Smythe during the 90 Cup Finals. We hear a lot of people talk highly of Billy Ranford. Career-wise, he's 28 games below 500. Is he a bit maybe overrated?
I really don't know what's happened to Billy Ranford. I thought he was a great goaltender. I thought when he was with Edmonton, he was fantastic. He's a competitor. He plays hard every night. And tonight, he was a difference. When your team struggles like the Lightning, the goaltender has to win a game for you, and that's what happened tonight. The Islanders, all the best players got chances. You saw Ziggy Palffy with a breakaway. You saw Trevor Linden with a point-blank shot. Trevor gets another shot from the slot here. That's how Billy Ranford used to play. He used to be aggressive. He used to be confident. He used to make big saves at key times. Wendell makes a great play here across the Selovanov, which basically put the game out of reach. And then Billy finished the game with a couple more good saves. And again, Linden makes a great play to Reichel. So all the right guys for the Islanders got the chances, and Billy Ranford looked like the old Billy Ranford. So if this team is going to get out of the basement, if this team is going to start climbing, guys like Billy Ranford, Pupa, Wendell, Clark have to start playing the way they did. Is he overrated? Today he probably is overrated. But I would take a flyer on him because he has shown at one time he was a great, great goaltender.
All right, 67 days since his last victory. And also Marcel Cousineau.
That's like my coaching record.
Marcel Cousineau's first start this year for the Islanders. Jerry Desjardins made the first ever start for the Islanders. Did
Good
you know
goaltender,
that?
yes he was.
All right, moving on. Tonight's question.
I know all trivia.
Well, here's one right here. Do you know this one? Which 2 coaches hold the NHL record for consecutive All-Star games coached? We mentioned Hitch. Who has the 2 records here? We'll tell you after these.
America Online introduces new version 4.0.
There has never been a better time to get online.
The easiest just got easier.
Instant messages.
I can customize my email.
My niece sent me a picture.
If you have a phone line, you can be online.
It's the easiest way to keep up with old friends.
Everyone I know is on it.
We've spent over $1 billion to create a state-of-the-art high-speed network, and with 56K, connections are faster than ever.
It's the ultimate local guide.
New 4.0, check it out.
It's my connection to the world.
America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
Many people think the job of goal judge is simple, but actually it's quite complicated. When I see the puck go in the net, I punch this button. And the red light goes on.
We mentioned Hitchcock coaching his 3rd straight All-Star game. The record is 5 by Glenn Sather and Toe Blake. Bowman, Arbor, and Shiro coached in 4 straight. Barry Melrose coached in 1. Remember that game?
1 straight. Lost.
9-8. Excellent defensive coaching. Let's talk about the Flyers and the Flames. Very tired group of Flyers. Early in the first, Philly looking to strike early. Lindros, Zelepukin, but Trefilov with the rob. Roger Nielsen looking on. Later in the first, Flames already up 1-0. Phil Housley to Theron Fleury. He'll beat Hexy. 2-0 Flames, Barry.
Calgary usually wins when Theo Fleury scores. Great play here. You're going to see his best chance on the play comes in. He usually doesn't miss that. The puck goes around, and right here, Housley was playing great for Calgary this year. Goes over to Theo. Hexy had to go side to side, didn't get over in time. Puck went between his legs. Great goal by Theo Fleury.
Good Phil Housley news there. Not so good Phil Housley news here. Knocked off by Zubris, who feeds Forbes. Beats Trefilov. It's a 2-1 hockey game. Late second, 3-1 Calgary. They're looking fine. Midway through the game, Lindros trying to get Philly back into it. Trefilov denies him twice, Barry.
Looked like he was sharp there. He was square to the puck. Puck comes around the wall here. Lindros got hit a number of times tonight. Weimer was playing head-to-head against him, as he does with most big centers. And Eric had to leave the ice and didn't come back. He's got a head injury.
That's Dykhouse with a cheekbone. That's right. Lindros left with a mild concussion, they say. And as we mentioned, there was Dykhouse with the broken cheekbone. Second period, Flyers pull within 3-2 off that center ice blast from McGillis. Looked like Jose Offerman there, did Trefilov with the glove. Goalie. Meanwhile, Trefilov comes back big, however. Excellent save to keep Calgary. He robs Keith Jones, Bear.
Here's a rob right here. Comes right out in front. He's got to go side to side. Jones wires it. It's not like he found right in the glove.
We go to overtime. Valery Zelepukin, wrist shot. Swish. 3 of his 4 goals this season have been game winners. Toe Blake always said the best shots that you see are ones you don't hear. Didn't hear that one. Pure wrist shot. Flyers unbeaten in 9. They're playing well, 5-0-4. Haven't lost to a Western Conference team, 7-0-3. Phillies NHL high 12th overtime game. They're 2-1-9. The NHL continues to expand into non-traditional hockey markets. Atlanta, Nashville, Columbus, places that have supported minor league teams at minor league prices. Phoenix would also qualify as a non-traditional hockey town, and its survival, as well as the other towns mentioned, depends largely on the passion of the fans, how emotional, how unique, how wonderfully wacky they are. In Phoenix, the wacky potential has been fulfilled.
That's it up for Tuck, and it runs, cuts it, he
Oh yeah, you can't miss those guys skating around.
Well, Terry, the guy sits next to me, during the very first season was the first one to wear one. And originally I thought it was a medical condition. And the longer I know the man, I'm convinced it is. But I started to wear one so not everybody would stare at him. And the fungus began to grow, and it's a great family. Everybody here is hockey fans.
Get out of the way, fathead!
Jeez, get a ticket, Koharski. It's easy. Hockey's just a different game. Everybody's crazy. It's wild. Coming over. That C stand for chicken. The guys bring it out in you. The fans are different. I don't want to crack on the other sports, but it's a lot livelier crowd. No real explanation other than some therapy can't cure. Come on, Todd! What are you looking at, boy? Punch him in the head! You know, you check your personality at the door and unveil what you really are when you walk in. Thanksgiving night we played the Devils in overtime. Went to overtime. Chuck had 2 goals, went to overtime, and I knew at the time that Devils were coming off a great year, and they hadn't lost an overtime game in like 20 previous. And Chuck got a hat trick during overtime, and being the well-dressed individuals we were, I had a turkey strapped to my helmet. And we had to do the proper thing and launch our headwear. And one of the Devils was not real tickled with that, and he smashed it right there on the ice. So that's when I knew we'd really made our mark.
Blackhawks are cheaters.
Well, got to go easy on them, man. They're having a tough year, huh? A few of us have gotten together and we sponsored T-shirts. We've done some T-shirts that we've funded the money for and sold, and every dime of it goes to charity. And first 2 seasons, we've done one on Chris King and one on Keith Kachuk, and we've raised almost $15,000 for Goals for Kids. Can your husband take a hit? Come on! Get off the ice. You had your finger out of your nose when you got hit. It wouldn't hurt. Come on! We'd like to send this to Barry Melrose. We noticed after the game here the other night after Edmonton, he recognized us as a couple of good-looking men. And I'd like to present that to Barry for his taste in hockey fans.
I would never wear anything like that on TV. Think I'm nuts?
It's amazing that helmet fits, because you have one of the largest heads in TV.
Fits good, too. It's actually just like I used to wear. But those fans are great fans in Phoenix. If you ever go to a game, they all sit together. They talk like that. It's not an act. They say stuff like that all game long, and that's why Phoenix is starting to climb in the standings, because of the fans. It's not because of the players.
That helmet has traveled a long way.
It's a nice helmet. It's a nice helmet. This will stay in the Hall of Fame right here.
Barry Melrose, helmet head trainee. A proud moment. Todd Harvey is confident he will play for the Rangers Wednesday on ESPN2. Of course, there'll be no Kachuk, no Roenick, no Drake. But there will be a game, and there will be helmet heads.
Yes, there will be. They're there all
the time. Baby!
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do you do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
How do you stop a rhino from charging? How?
Travel with Joseph Van Oss Photo Safari to Kenya's land of the Maasai.
How do you stop a rhino from charging?
And you'll see a culture and a wildlife like no other on earth.
How do you stop a rhino from charging?
But bring your Visa card.
How do you stop a rhino from charging? Give it an American Express card.
Because this photo safari doesn't take American Express.
Wait till they hear this in Nairobi.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Well, I'm really psyched when I get on the stage. As soon as I walk out there, I'm like, my brain is buzzing and adrenaline is flashing into my system. And what you want to do is you want to check out what's going on in the audience and check out what's going on behind you in the band and looking around you and seeing, oh, this audience is really hot, or they look really bored. Okay, there's a little knot of people there interesting. What are they wearing? And then this guy gets out this piece of cardboard with a sign and he stacks out in front of him and it says, "You suck."
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
All that you can be.
A great tradition reborn on ESPN2. Friday Night Fights. This week, start off the new year with a Muhammad Ali retrospective. Friday Night Fights. Friday at 8 on ESPN2.
Our third Hansen, Dinas Zubris, a goal and a helper. Philly wins 4-3 in OT. Barry, who's the second Hansen?
Where will this guy end up? Mark Recchi, Montreal's best player, scored 2 goals tonight in a Montreal win, which he needed desperately. Excellent player, played in Kamloops as a junior.
And our first Hansen, Tampa's Bill Ranford, first shutout of the year. He shuts out the Islanders. Avalanche lead the Canucks 2-1 in the third. Forsberg has a goal, as you can see here. Colorado 8-1-1 in their last 10 games in Vancouver. NHL tonight, Wednesday, following the Ranger-Coyote game. Hasek looks to rebound from his dismal performance against New Jersey. The Mighty Ducks and Maple Leafs play, and what's wrong with the Wings? We forgot our foil.
Yeah, we don't have the foil.
So when you fought, did you wear the helmet over your entire face?
I got the helmet down as low as it could. Cover much of your face with the helmet as possible. That's a good rule of fighting.
For everyone at the NHL tonight, Gordy.
For those of you watching John Butchergross on the NHL tonight, this is ESPN News. I'm Ian Page alongside Jim Frazier. We'll be with you till the bottom of the hour. We're going to start you off with some unsettling news from the NFL.
Particularly for the New Orleans Saints organization. New Orleans Saints lineman Keno Hills arrested on drug charges after police say he was observed in a hand-to-hand drug deal. A 25-year-old was booked for heroin possession with intent to distribute, as well as possession of a firearm. If convicted, he could face life in prison. Plenty of unsaintly behavior for New Orleans players this year. Kerry Collins arrested on DWI charges in November. Receiver Keith Poole for teeing off on a man with a golf club back in August.
Meantime, the NFL playoffs begin this weekend with the wild card games. On Saturday, it begins with an AFC East battle between the Bills and Dolphins, and the Cardinals and Cowboys are the late game. And then on Sunday, the Jags, who have never beaten the Patriots, host that early game, followed by a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game, the Niners and the Packers. Bill Pito now looks ahead to the weekend.
The Bills became just the 5th team in NFL history to make the playoffs after starting 0-3. The Bills were 6-10 a year ago. Jimmy Johnson promised to stress the Dolphins' running game this season. The running game only provided more stress for Johnson. Sunday, Miami netted just 38 rushing yards. It's the 4th time this year they've been held below 40. Large early deficits have a way of doing that. In the third quarter, 2 straight runs inside the 5 lost yardage before the Dolphins scored on a run by a quarterback who's had 9 operations combined on his Achilles tendon, ankle, and knees.
We know each other real well, and that's why most of the division games are always close. I mean, because both teams know each other so well.
It's against a big rival, a team that's playing extremely well. And I think the biggest question for our football team and for our fans is how do we respond?
The bad news for the Patriots, they're on the road, and their quarterback is banged up. The good news, they're in the playoffs, and the other team's quarterback is also banged up. The Patriots have won all 3 meetings in what's becoming a memorable series. Last year, New England denied the Jags a division championship in a first-round bye by winning at Jacksonville. The Jags lost twice at New England the previous season, including the AFC Championship game.
They certainly have had to, go through the same kind of season that we have. And I don't know all of the details throughout their season, but I know that they're banged up and they've had some major problems, and they've got the quarterback issue going on now. Sure, we'll have enough guys to suit up, and they will too, and then we'll go out and slug it out and see what happens.
The Packers and 49ers need no introductions. In each of the last 3 years, the Packers have eliminated the 49ers from the playoffs. In fact, Green Bay's won the last 5 meetings overall with San Francisco. Most recently, the Packers sacked Steve Young 9 times in a 36-22 win in Week 9. The 49ers have won 19 of the last 21 at home, and both those losses have come against the Green Bay Packers.
We're very familiar with each other, and it's become quite a rival, and so I guess in some regards it is sort of a special kind of a game.
You have got to reach down in there and crank it up a notch. Off the field in your preparation, how you practice, get more sleep at night, eat better food, do whatever you have to do to get better for this game.
For the second time in franchise history, the Packers have won 10-plus games 4 years in a row. The Packers have not lost an opening round playoff game since Holmgren took over the team. Since the dawn of the decade, the Cardinals have averaged 5.8 wins a season, but already 9 times in his 26-game NFL career, Jake Plummer has rallied the Cardinals to win after being tied or behind in the 4th quarter. It might have been 10 comeback wins. In their most recent meeting with next week's playoff opponent, the Cowboys, this non-call on what looked like pass interference in the last play of the game gave the Cowboys a 35-28 victory.
I kind of think that's, back in the middle of November, and
it probably won't have as much effect on this ball game as what, as where both teams are right now.
All right, Bill, thanks a lot. Look out for the black ice tonight. Buffalo and Miami, Saturday, 12 o'clock Eastern time. It's the AFC wildcard game. Coverage begins at 12 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Then the 4 o'clock game, the Cardinals. They've not been in the playoffs since 1982. They will take on Troy Aikman and the boys. 4 o'clock Eastern time. It's the NFL playoffs on ABC. Stick around. We're back with more after this.
I started smashing guitars really, really early. I was 12 years old and I was sent to live with my grandmother by the sea. And one day she burst in on me and John Entwistle. She came in and she said, "Turn down that disgusting, awful row." I very calmly got up and I picked up the amplifier and I threw it against the wall. And it just kind of went, "Fizz!" And the back of it fell off and all the tubes burst and it fell on the ground. And I just remember John kind of going, "Great."
Dan, you look good. Lost weight?
Cut the act, Phil. I need to tell management what's happening with our website.
Okay.
In terms they can understand.
Every buck we spend, we'll earn $2 back by the end of the year.
Can you believe the price of popcorn?
It's a crime against humanity.
Everything costs an arm and a leg.
Not everything. You can get all your long-distance calls for under $1.
He's talking about 10, 10, 220. Dial it and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents.
Behold the golden child.
Talk over 20 minutes, then what?
Yeah, then what?
It's just 10 cents for each extra minute.
That's cheap. How is it possible? How does popcorn pop? Who cares?
Yeah, just dial 10, 10, 220 and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents.
You're stuck to the floor, aren't you?
More college basketball. Illinois and Clemson first half. Harold Jamison working the boards off the Will Solomon miss. Jamison grabs the offensive board and puts it back up. He had 17 boards, but Clemson down by 5 at the half. Second half, Sergio McClain. Nice pull-up jumper. McClain finished with 12 points on the night. Then more McClain as Illinois is up. He'll drive the baseline, and again he pulls up, and again he knocks it down. Illinois pulls off the upset as the Tigers had their 8-game winning streak broken as Terrell McIntyre had 15 points, but it was not enough. McIntyre just 5 of 17 from the field as Illinois snaps a 2-game losing streak. Let's check in on the Alamo Bowl. Kansas State and Purdue. $1:27 to go. Michael Bishop. 3-yard touchdown pass to Justin Swift. That puts K-State up 34-30 as time is winding down in this one. Been a good one back and forth all night long. Purdue really has been in control, but Kansas State now up 34-30. Michael Bishop, you just saw him throw the touchdown pass. He has thrown 3 interceptions tonight. He had 4 just all of this season.
Discipline to desert. That was Florida State's theme when the football season began. It probably looked better on the brochure while the Vols are kicking it in plush Scottsdale. FSU players checked into a lonely roadside hotel today. Nearby entertainment, 0. Until no players found most every 21-year-old male oasis in the hospitality room of the hotel. And no, it wasn't Cindy Crawford, but a half-dozen video games. The College Game Day crew in Tempe with the game preview.
Well, nestled between the arid bluffs here in Tempe, Arizona, Sun Devil Stadium, site of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. 6 days from now, the national championship, the Volunteers of Tennessee, the Seminoles of Florida State. The field was kind of torn up after the Cardinals clinched the playoffs. They replaced about 1,000 square feet of sod, and they are painting it as we speak. Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit join me. This is only the 12th time in history in a bowl game you get number 1 against number 2. The last time it happened right here when Nebraska took Florida behind the woodshed. Bobby Bowden backed into a national championship shot in 1993. Similar luck this time. This team was number 6 in the country back in November. But once you get to a bowl game, few coaches are better than Coach Bowden. One of his breakthrough wins was a Fiesta Bowl win here in '87 against Nebraska. He's 14-1-1 in the last 16, so obviously everybody wants to know his secrets for bowl preparation.
All you want to do is get these boys to a peak, ready to go, and it doesn't take, gosh, we've practiced, I think we practiced 8 days, in Tallahassee. We'll get about 7 or 8 here, and that's all we want. I mean, we'll get them in the best shape we can get them into, try to get their timing down, and then that's it. But you do worry about a layoff that long. Have you lost any momentum? That's what you worry about.
Tennessee's layoff has been much shorter because of playing in the SEC championship game, and the Volunteers arrived here a couple of days before, already had 4 practices. Fulmer says he's learned a couple things about bowl preparation. Don't work them too hard too soon.
Well, if you want to look to how to do it, you look at Bobby Bowden. Chris mentioned 14-1-1 in the last 16 games, and the way he does it is his great depth and the way they move players in and out on the defensive side of the ball. Everybody is enamored with the way Florida State runs on defense, and sure, they have great speed. The thing that I love about these Florida State teams over the years is the way they move different defensive linemen in and out, and by the fourth quarter, they're just as fresh as their first stringers.
One thing about Florida State, they've had excellent talent over the years, but this year, for the first time in school's history, they have 3 first-team AP All-Americans. Wideout Peter Warwick, defensive lineman Corey Simon, and Sebastian Janikowski, the place kicker. All 3 of those superstars must have big ball games because they're all in key areas against Tennessee.
It's funny, they call this a team without stars, a no-name Florida State team. They got 3 All-Americans.
First time ever. First time ever.
We brought a competitive Fiesta Bowl game. This has been one of the least competitive of all the bowl games here. You've had, out of the last 10, only 1 decided by 13 points or less. We think that's going to change. We're going to be here all week long in the shadow of those bluffs we talked about, breaking down the Volunteers and the Seminoles. 6 days from now, they'll play for the national championship. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, ABC stands for All Bowl Contests. Lloyd Carr's Wolverines meeting Houston Nutt's Razorbacks in the Citrus. Powerback, Ron Dane in Wisconsin take on Cade McNown at UCLA, and the Granddaddy and Joe Germain, who set an LSU record for 300-yard passing games, tries to light up Texas A&M. It's all on ABC.
Let's go back to an update. At 36 seconds left, Drew Brees to Isaac Jones for the go-ahead touchdown. Purdue takes the lead with 30 seconds to go in this one. It's not over yet as Joe Tiller looks on. Right now, Purdue's up by a field goal, but you know what? There's a half-minute left in this game. Michael Bishop could direct the Wildcats to a field goal to tie this thing. We'll keep you up to date when the news continues after this.
Get ready to taste life for the first time, people.
Watch out now! You want to taste life? Then take a big swig of this. New Pepsi One. This one's got it all. The most awesome cola taste. That's bigger than the Wild Blue Yonder. But only 1 calorie. You want to taste one? Yeah. You want one? Yeah. You want one? Yeah. Get it. Go.
You got one for me?
Put your tray table up and prepare for takeoff, my man.
All the taste, 1 calorie. Only one has it all.
It has the power to excite you. It has the power to move you. It has the power to take you places you never knew existed. It is, of course, your Visa card, with the power to get you a seat to Michael Tilson Thomas and the San Francisco Symphony at Davies Symphony Hall. So bring your Visa card, because you can't get in using American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Izzy, this cold. I'm so stuffed up. Feels like I'm underwater, too. The sneezing and coughing can last all night. My eyes won't shut either. I need NyQuil for relief so I can rest. Because I have plans in the morning. What? I can't say.
With NyQuil, he gets relief, so he'll sleep and wake up to a good morning.
Don't look.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest and have a good morning medicine.
Now, a new space-age technology makes it possible to see great college basketball action almost every night. If you're not getting enough college hoops, you can see hundreds of extra games this season. Just order ESPN Full Court, ESPN's college basketball pay-per-view package. You'll get tons of games featuring top teams and conferences that aren't on TV where you live. ESPN Full Court. Is this a great world or what? Call DirecTV or Prime Star to subscribe to ESPN Full Court.
Well, those of you watching us on ESPN2, you get the NFL Tonight. Those of you watching on ESPN News, you get Whit Watson.
Which is better? Good question. Stick around. ESPN News continues right now.
To the 5, into the end zone, touchdown.
After 17 weeks, it's finally over.
He's going to run for the end zone and get there.
The Jags may be getting by with Jonathan Quinn at quarterback, but is defense their real concern?
Who ended the regular season #1 on our power rankings? Which playoff teams aren't even in the top 10? And how about the playoffs' most underrated team? 5 franchises need a new head coach. Which one is already talking to George Seifert? All the news next on NFL Tonight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first playoff edition of NFL Tonight. You are looking at 7 helmets of 7 teams who are currently looking for new head coaches. Mark Malone along with Sean Salisbury, and for a lot of teams, it's time for the postseason. For those teams, they need somebody to lead them to the postseason.
It seems like defensive coaches are out. The theme here is find me an offensive head coach. A lot of them going to be taken, Mark.
A lot of them are. Offense important, but for this team, defense is where they started first. The Carolina Panthers are wasting no time in their attempts to fill the vacancy left by head coach Dom Capers. Just one day after team owner Jerry Richardson fired Capers, he met with George Seifert, also a front-runner for the job openings in Baltimore and Seattle. Seifert spent 9 years as a defensive coordinator for San Francisco before taking over for the legendary Bill Walsh. During his 8 years as head coach for the 49ers, Seifert reached both 50 and 75 wins faster than anyone in history while winning 2 Super Bowls. We caught up with him at the airport following his interview with Richardson.
Well, I had a very nice visit with Mr. Richardson, and, you know, it was exploratory, both on his part and on my part. And I would say that you should all be proud of the fact that he's about as dedicated an owner as there is to wanting to win.
Meanwhile, the expansion Cleveland Browns hunt for a head coach focused on offense for a second straight day as Denver Broncos offensive coordinator Gary Kubiak met with team executives Tuesday. A former employee of President Carmen Policy while at San Francisco, Kubiak found a comfort level in Cleveland.
It's attractive to me because I know these guys, and I know their commitment to being the best in the business, or they wouldn't be in it. So I think that's that's how strong I feel toward this organization right now. I can't speak for anything else because I haven't talked to anybody else or been in that situation.
Since he's gone to Denver, I have to tell you, I do think that there's been a maturing process. There's been a growing process. I could tell just in talking to him even casually over the past 2 years and calling to wish you luck, not tampering, calling to wish you luck. You could sense that there was a greater awareness and a greater confidence in his voice. And then after meeting with him today, I'm really impressed.
And the search continues. ESPN The Magazine's John Clayton joins us now. As teams and candidates jockey for position, how quickly can we expect to see some of these jobs filled?
I think maybe you might see something happen next week. Now, George Seifert obviously being the most aggressive. He was out in Carolina. I think they're setting up something for Baltimore, although George did fly back to San Francisco tonight. But they're already working on the Baltimore situation, and he'll interview with Seattle probably sometime next week. But I think he could be the first to go. And obviously, Carolina's going to look at Steve Spurrier. I don't know if anything will even materialize as far as an interview. But obviously, Carolina, the first team out of the blocks, they're moving quickly.
You mentioned Spurrier's name. Whose phone is ringing, and who can we expect to be in the news as a candidate on the head coaching tour over the next couple of days?
Well, first off, Jim Haslett has already received a phone call from Philadelphia. They're setting up an interview tomorrow. He'll receive a phone call tomorrow from Seattle. Also, Baltimore is expected to get something going there. So his name is going to be in the news tomorrow. Also, one news item in Pittsburgh, Ray Sherman, the offensive coordinator, escaped out of there with his job today. It still looks like there may be a change, a demotion, but it did not happen today in Pittsburgh.
Of course, we'll have a lot more on this and other news from John Clayton a little later in the show. We ask you on our ESPN.com poll question, however, if you were one of the NFL's GMs looking for a head coach, who would be your top choice? Brian Billick, Dom Capers, Gary Kubiak, Sherman Lewis, Ray Rhodes, George Seifert, or Dave Wanstead? Well, they did play football last Monday, and that would be last night. The season's finale featured a game that meant nothing to the postseason picture, but did lend some insight to Jacksonville and some apparent weaknesses they have on both sides of the ball, Sean, as they get ready to host the New England Patriots.
Yeah, we'll hit that defense. Offensively, all hinders on how healthy Mark Brunell is. But talking about Jonathan Quinn, didn't do a bad job last night. Let's check him out on our Monday Night Breakdown as we look at their offense here. First of all, what they did last night for him is they kept it very easy. And also, this guy's got a little bit of athleticism. Look what he does. Same thing Brunell does. Doesn't make the bad decision. Pulls the ball down, although he's not exactly as fast as Brunell. found a way to get in the end zone. They limited his audibles last night. If, in fact, Quinn has to play in the playoff game or start, I would expect that they're going to have to limit their offense, and they're going to keep it simple for him and rely on the playmakers to make plays. As you saw last night, he got the ball around, short passes, making some plays to give himself a chance to be successful. Only 19 throws. They're going to have to throw more in this game. And here is Mark Brunell. If he's in, now this guy gives you the best chance to win. He's one of the ultimate weapons in the league. Can beat you with the deep pass, with the TD here to McCardell, and you're going to see another one. This is an extremely accurate quarterback. His timing might be off a bit. Whether he's 75% or 80%, has not practiced much. If, in fact, he does start, and I expect him to, he's going to need McCardell and Taylor and Smith to step up and make plays that maybe they wouldn't make. And the key to having Mark Brunell back is you get to expand your offense, Mark, and make plays where if Quinn's there, you got to limit it a little. You get to expand it. Audibles, he can take you out of a bad play and get you to a big play and a home run. With him starting, I give them the advantage.
And I would agree with you that Mark Brunell might be a little shaky and a little rusty, but this is not a football team, especially with Ty Law, that you want to be inaccurate with your passes. On the other hand, Jacksonville's defense has some problems of its own. They gave up 139 yards to the bus. In fact, when you take a look at this defense, from these numbers right here, it shows you that they rank below the rest of this year's playoff teams in many defensive categories. They have the worst overall and rush defense still remaining. As for pass defense, none of the survivors has fewer sacks or interceptions. Their first-round opponent, New England, have had success stopping the run and picking passes off, Sean.
Yeah, when you're 22nd against the run, it doesn't bode well for the playoffs because you know what they're going to do. They are going to come at you, and Jerome Bettis did it last night. And it wasn't like Jerome Bettis was fighting for extra yards. Those holes were big, and they were huge, and they got to be alert not to try and go get after the quarterback too quickly. They're going to play Robert Edwards, and the New England Patriots, of the Patriots, their running back, they do not have a lot of weapons on the outside because of injuries to wide receiver. Edwards and Ben Coates are the ones who are going to have to step up and make plays. I expect Coates to have a big game, but with Zolak in there, he's going to have to lean on Robert Edwards. And Mark, for New England to win, if Brunell's healthy, I think that Edwards has got to have one of those days, rush the ball for over 100 yards and maybe catch 6 or 7 balls. But that's a weak defense. They're going to have to crowd the line of scrimmage and beg you to beat them outside.
Jacksonville's defense will face a Patriot wide receiver core that's been depleted. How do they match up in this game?
Well, this is a very interesting. You got the 23rd pass defense in the league in Jacksonville against no Drew Bledsoe on offense, but you still got some players out there who can make a few plays. And I want you to watch here. You saw the spot shadow. You cannot give this much cushion if you're Jacksonville. Whether it's Sean Jefferson or Simmons on New England, their wideouts, they won't make those plays. Here's another thing. You can't do this. You have got to get to the quarterback. Everybody says in pass defense, the secondary can't make plays. If you're not putting pressure on the quarterback, I think last of all the playoff teams in sacks Jacksonville is, it's very easy. Average quarterbacks can make plays. They need to do a little more of this. Disguise coverage. Show press. Play off. Ball's underthrown here by Stewart. This football team, the matchup, Jacksonville secondary has got to come up with plays. But I would say that you're going to come up and make that doggone running game. They're not allowed that to beat you. That outside, that Simmons and Sean Jefferson are the ones who are going to have to make 2 or 3 chunk plays. I said it last night, 20 or more yards to give Zolak some help. No Bledsoe. Zolak's got to lean. Look for big coach to go big, though.
And rookie safety Donovan Darius figures in very big. He's been out hurt. If he can be back, that might be a nice little matchup they have with Ben Coates. We're going to have a lot more on this game throughout the week, including perspectives from Patriots linebacker Ted Johnson, who will join us here in the studio on Wednesday. Coming up next on NFL Tonight, the health of Deion Sanders. Can Dallas expect a miracle from football's prodigal one? We'll have an update on Primetime's podiatry problems and how he figures into the wild card picture. And speaking of Dallas, as assistants under Jimmy Johnson, Norv Turner and Dave Wannstedt were considered the brightest. Now the shine is gone. What happened?